Victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible, it's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Welcome to Staples.
Hi, I need a printer for the office.
Staples has the best brands, like HP.
Well, I have some demands.
Oh.
Burton Sales demands it be fast.
HP's Office Jet Pro is super fast.
Megan Marketing demands color prints.
Check.
And Kurt the Controller demands I don't overpay.
With Staples hot deals, you get up to 40% off select HP printers.
Oh, great. My job can be...
demanding?
I was gonna say a lot of fun.
Right now at Staples, save up to 40% on select HP printers, America's most trusted printer brand. Ends 9/28.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners beat the Padres last night thanks to a stellar start from Brian Wu, who carried a perfect game into the 7th. That'll do it for the series against San Diego. Tonight's the start of a series against the Rangers, and the Mariners will see the debut of Texas starter Kumar Rocker. First pitch is at 6:40 p.m. Pregame show starts at 5:30 p.m. right here on Seattle Sports.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. All right, you guys, happy Thursday. Bump and I are live from Virginia Mason Athletic Center because we have the Huddle, a 2-hour Seahawks preview coming your way at noon. Dave Wyman is going to join us as our third guest, and then we're going to bring on some Seahawks, hear from press conferences, and more of our favorite Seahawks voices, guys covering this team, including obviously Steve Raible, voice of the Seahawks, and Big Ray Roberts to talk about this offensive line heading into week 2. Before we get to any of it, Bump, we've got some Mariners conversation to get to. 2 things here. Number 1, last night the Mariners won. Congratulations, Mariners, 5-2. Entering into a series now against the Rangers. But what we got to talk about first, Brian Wu's performance last night carried a perfecto into the 7th.
Woo, is this thing on? Can you hear me?
Oh.
Gracious. Now I'm on. Old man Bumpus. Okay, 38 years of age. Hey, Wu, he did his thing, man. And I read or listened and read to him talk about just his warm-up. And now he did not feel good. Everything was loose in the pen. He couldn't hit his spots, and then he gets on the mound, and everything just clicks. Relied on his fastball. Obviously, that's what he does 64% of the time. Threw 5 pitches and just look calm, composed, and in control. And I'm happy for the young man because I remember when he got called up, we didn't really know what you're going to get out of Wu. And then he showed you some potential. Then obviously he has his struggles during his first year. But slowly but surely, he's been really consistent this year. So it was nice. Man, I'm mad Tatis went yard on him.
How dare you?
Why is it always like the no-hitters are always broken up with a bomb?
Right.
Like, can't even be just a little single, a little dribbler somewhere. No, you got to go yard it and blow it up like that. But Wu pointed out he left it over the plate. It was a good swing. He tipped his cap like a professional does. But good day for Wu.
Now he ended up going through 19, but let's hear cut number 1. Wu retiring 18 Padres in a row.
Wu stares home to count Raleigh. He delivers. Swing and it's popped up. Raible drifting into shallow right field, now into foul territory. And the Mariners' first baseman puts the squeeze on it. What a performance. You cannot be any better over the first 6 innings of a ball game. Bryan Wu has gone 18 up and 18 down.
I thought this was also insightful. Cut number 5. This is Cal Raleigh on Mookie Betts' podcast, and the two of them talk about a number of things, but one of them, very briefly, is Bryan Wu. Take a listen.
That's where it's like, it's kind of like Wu last night, where he glides,
Man, Wu,
glides down the mound.
It looked like it was here, but it was like up here every single time.
Isn't it amazing?
Oh,
and it's so effortless.
Yeah,
like,
he doesn't even try.
Just some guys just have that like natural like glide down the mound, easy, and it just gets on you.
Oh man, and every pitch, he's really good, dude. I knew he was good from before, but like seeing it, whew.
Yeah, he's gonna be special.
Fernando Tatis post-game via Daniel Kramer said his ball was rising to a level I haven't seen much. This guy has really good stuff. He was pounding the zone. His fastball was really alive, and he was making good pitches all the way from the beginning. Bump, much like you, I looked at Bryan Wu at the start of the season and thought, of course, like we're fortunate to have Bryan Wu, having Wu and Miller, these two exciting young pitchers. If you were to pull conversations, if you and I had them about like, would you trade a starter or which guy would you move on from? I can guarantee you that I said either Miller or Wu.
Oh, yeah, I was right there with you.
Yeah. And I don't feel that way now, but that also speaks to just the kind of season he's had in terms of exceeding expectations and just how special and important he's become for this team.
Yeah, it's the progress of a young player because you start somewhere and you're full of potential. And when a team is struggling and your biggest assets are your arms, you're going to look at the younger guys and say, okay, let's talk about what that potential can get you in return. And then the season goes along and maybe there's a dip in performance elsewhere and the younger guys continue to get better. It changes your perspective of things. When you play 162 of these things, your perspective is going to change. Obviously, you don't see Wu every single night.
Yeah.
But, and it's so fun hearing guys who do this at a high level admire what Wu does. And he's so young. When you got Mookie and Cal I didn't see the clip. I could imagine their eyes are big and they're smiling and they're just glowing about this young man. It's fun to hear because those guys have done it at the highest level. So there's a different level of respect and appreciation I get when I hear some of the best talk about a young man like Wu.
I also like this. Jordan Schusterman of Yahoo Sports, and we've had him on before, talked about an old podcast, this from The Wheelhouse with Jerry Dipoto, an official Mariners podcast. And he said, I'm remembering a story Dipoto told last year about how director of pitching strategy Trent Blank was so enamored with Bryan Wu pre-draft that he said he would take him first overall. Jordan added, Wu had a 6.36 ERA in college, mostly as a reliever, and had just had Tommy John surgery. And the Mariners were like, we need this guy. So just being like, that's how impressive his talent was to people who are good at recognizing talent.
Right.
Like how impressive in general. We critique the Mariners a lot for an inability that front office has had to build big league offense. And it's fair, completely fair critique. Tip of the cap for building this big league starting rotation, particularly because there are a lot of other people that did not see this with Bryan Wu, and they did.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they've shown over the past few years is that they can identify some arms. And the way they brought him along, too, because they were patient with him this year, right? He's only throwing 40-something pitches to 50-something pitches. And the process that they went through to kind of nurture him and make sure he was okay is just another testament of just their knowledge and philosophy. Like, it works when it comes to these arms, man. They can identify the young talent, they can develop them, and then when he's banged up a little bit, they understand the arm and the body and allow him to take the necessary steps. So towards the end of the year, when you're only, 3.5 games back now, I think they are, you still have him available, and he's playing his best baseball at this point. So, yeah, man, it's much disappointment, as we've discussed with this ball club this year and this organization when it comes to acquiring talent with bats and all that stuff. Man, you can't give them enough love when it comes to what they've done with the arms here.
Now, that's not to say that where this segment is going won't probably include a bit of head scratching and a bit of criticism in addition to some praise, because my question for you and my question for myself and listeners is, if Brian Wu continues to be the biggest success story for the Mariners in 2024, who else has exceeded expectations for the Mariners in 2024? And then what does it say if that list isn't very long? I was thinking, Bump, all of my answers were almost entirely with the pitching staff, with Brian Wu being number one. The only person I could think of that was a position player was Victor Robles.
Yeah.
But it would be exceeding the Mariners' expectations, not the Nationals, where he was a top prospect and they were hoping he'd do more.
Yeah. That's the only one that's legit, I feel like. Robles has exceeded our expectations. I've told this story before. At one point, we're watching the game, and Robles is out there. My son like, who's that? I go, oh, yeah, we picked him up like 2-3 weeks ago. He's not an everyday type of guy. And slowly but surely, man, he's established himself as like a big personality on this team, a baller on this team. So, yeah, that's the only one I can point to. I think Demo's had his best year. He's gotten the most hits he's gotten in a season. But Demo's not the guy that you can rely on every single day to go out there and produce. But I do want to show him some love because he's done something this year he's never done in the bigs, most hits he's ever gotten. But it has to be Robles, man. He is he brings more personality to this team. He brings a confidence to this team. Even his walks are fun to watch. The first game against the Padres, he got walked, and just the way he shrugs his shoulders and looks at the dugout, you would have thought he just hit a bomb. But no, he walked, he got on base, and he's so locked in and engaged when he's out there on the diamond. It's fun to watch. That's the only one that I could think of. I was right there with you when I was reading your email. I go, man, unfortunately, that is the only player right now I can think of that's kind of exceeded expectations and had himself a good year.
Hitting the Mac and Jack's text line, someone said Cal has exceeded expectations, 30 home runs. Now, Cal will undoubtedly, just because I have full faith he will have at least one more home run this season, hit a career high in home runs. However, he had 30 home runs last year, 27 home runs the year prior to that. Cal Raleigh is also below last year's average, around, where he has been with the on-base percentage. Cal met expectations for me. Like, I don't expect Cal to hit for average. I expect him to have power and hit home runs. That is exactly the season he's provided. Unfortunately for Cal Raleigh, he's set the bar so high and leading all catchers league-wide in home runs for the last 2 seasons that he has 30 home runs is really cool, but kind of what we should expect from Cal. That's the kind of player he's proven he can be.
Cal needed to be this player for this team to have an opportunity to get into the playoffs, and he's shown over the past few years that he can be exactly this. So it's not that we're not appreciating what Cal has done this year. He's had a great season, but we expected that. There have been pockets when guys have done great to start the season. Rojas kind of led the charge with this ball club. I'm trying to think of somebody else. Rosarena, when he first hopped on the scene, he had a good week or series or two. But there hasn't been anyone like Robles who's put together months of, okay, I'm not going to be perfect every single game. I'm not going to bat 1,000 and OPS over 900, but I'm going to give us a chance to win ball games. That's what Robles has done. Other guys have had some pockets. Even Julio, he was on like a 10-game hitting streak at one point of this year, 10 or 11 games, but hasn't really lived up to all the hype that he came in with this season. Injuries can affect that, obviously tweaking things in his swing. But, yeah, it all goes to Robles to me, man. Cal's had himself a great year. The pitching staff has had a great year, but Robles is the guy. I even like the way he changes his eye black every game. Like, it's a bit different every game, and he always puts a little streak in it. Yeah, man, little details with Robles and just his energy. I love his energy, man. The confidence is crazy.
I saw someone suggest Luke Raible, which I think is a fair suggestion.
He's had his pockets.
He's had his. That's a really good way. I know that you use that for Cal. That's a good way to say it. He's had his pockets. He's managed to get those moments moments, those stretches. He has matched his home run total from last year with 19. But overall, I mean, some other things with him are just kind of either on par or slightly down in terms of average, in terms of on-base percentage, in terms of slugging, all of those about a career average or slightly down compared to how he was with Tampa Bay. I think overall, what I really took from this exercise was that so many Mariners did not exceed expectations.
Right.
Kind of speaks to the problems you have. And here's the thing, too. If you look at any club that has won a World Series that has made a deep playoff run, and you could expand this to other leagues. You could look at Super Bowl teams. You could look at Stanley Cup winning teams, whatever it is. To win it all, you not only need a great foundation, you need guys to have special seasons. Like, you need luck and health, and then you need a couple dudes to surprise you without fail.
Yeah.
And if you go back and you look at, you know, let's say the Giants, one of their 2 Super Bowl wins against New England, when in both they were underdogs, and in both those seasons they weren't like a #1 team. You'll find someone on that team that had a career year. And so when you look at the Mariners and you're trying to find someone with a career year, well, that's also part of why they're really struggling this year, is no one has drastically exceeded expectations and given you that surprise performance outside of course, the handful of guys we've mentioned here.
I don't even think you needed a bunch of guys to exceed. Just be who you are supposed to be. Julio, if he was who he was supposed to be, this team will be better. Rosarena, if he was more consistent while he's been here, this team will be better. JP, he's been hurt, obviously, with his fracture in his hand. But if he were who he was supposed to be, he will be better. Polanco, people were booing Polanco at one point. So I'm glad that he's kind of turned the corner a bit when it comes to his performance. But if he's just who he's supposed to be, I think the extraordinary performances were supposed to come from guys like Robles and Demo, and throw someone else in there. But the problem has been just guys haven't lived up just to the standard that they hold themselves to and that they've shown over the past few years. But you do need those extraordinary performances like you've mentioned. You still might get it from Cal. I mean, right now, how many games left? 16 games or something like that?
Yeah, he's already tied a career high.
Maybe he goes nuts and hits 5 or 6 more and does something spectacular. So there's still a little bit of time to figure some things out. Still some time to see if they can close this gap of 3.5 games. They're still in the mix, but I think the way we started the show was perfect. Highlight Wu. Wu did. It was fun watching him do his thing last night, and to hear some of the reactions on X and read about it. So big ups to Wu.
Yeah, I just like entering an off season, which we're soon going to do, knowing that at least something worked out, at least something surprised you, and that I hope that is even more impetus for a front office to look at Wu and go, wow, there are even more pieces we want to take advantage of. You know what I mean? It's not just Cal, it's not just Julio, it's the entirety of our pitching staff, which looks even better than we thought it might. So take advantage of that, whether it's, you know, a late push this year, which feels incredibly unlikely at around 8% playoff odds, or whether it is a fresh start next year, really trying to build up that offense. Whatever it is, again, like you said, highlighting Brian Wu to begin and end this thing after a phenomenal, phenomenal start. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Late last night, the Pac-12 added Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, and San Diego State. They'll now just need 2 more schools to join before the 2026 football season. What's the real headline?
A Pac-2 commissioner couldn't do what previous commissioners could. Guess you really have to bring in a woman to do a man's job. I totally flubbed that headline, of course. Of course I did. I fell right into it. We were talking about this, and we will continue to. College football insider Brett McMurphy joining us at 11:45 to discuss what will come next for the Pac-12. It is so frustrating to know not only that Larry Scott drove this thing into the ground, but that at a time when this conference desperately needed to expand under George Kliavkoff, and could have done it under Scott, but when they desperately needed to expand under George Kliavkoff, they didn't. And I don't know if it's looking down their nose at a school like Boise State, which has a better football program than, you know, several of the schools that were already here. Why not? Like, why not have already done that?
Well, it's easier to expand when you only got 2. And you got a whole bunch of money in the bank right now. They got, $250 million in their war chest. Is going to cost about $100 million to get these schools to come over. So the the specifics are a bit different, but I think the concept is right. You could have avoided all of this. My only gripe about this whole thing, why do it last night? You should have done this like at 1 o'clock or first thing in the morning and blasted it everywhere. Like, it still got blasted. I woke up to everyone hitting me up, but why do it at night, man? You should have made this thing prime time.
At like 10 a.m. maybe, from like 10 to 2.
10 to 2, exactly.
Yeah,
so Stacey can do her thing.
Now, obviously, you are an alum of a current Pac-2 school with, which feels, I always feel like I'm insulting the conference, even though that's literally what it is, of a Pac school with Washington State. How do you feel about these additions? Are there other schools that you would want to see them add? I know people have thrown out UNLV as one of these potentials.
No, I love the additions, man. It makes sense. I mean, Boise State is the best team in the Mountain West. You got Fresno State. Colorado State will put up some points and make things interesting. And then San Diego State, it makes sense. You need a West Coast team. San Diego State is there. They're one of the more competitive ones. No, I love the additions. You need 2 more to make this thing official. You need at least 8 teams in your conference for it to be considered a conference. So who do you go after now? The natural team would be UNLV if you're trying to stick to the West Coast, the Pacific division type of vibe, but you can go down to SMU. That will make travel a bit crazy, or you can try to get Cal and Stanford to come back because the ACC ain't going to be things aren't sounding good in the ACC. The only thing that is going to deter Stanford or Cal from coming back, they're going to look at these other schools and say, well, you're not as prestigious as us.
Oh, speaking of you're not as prestigious as us, the 509 with the academic prowess response. Google R1 Research University. Yeah, I went to one where I was a double major, so don't need to. What's next?
I didn't.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, Mike McDonald told the media yesterday that Uchenna Nwosu will be out again Sunday, and they're taking it day by day with Ken Walker. What's the real headline?
Look, it's not even a joke with this one. Feeling comfortable entering another week without your best pass rusher is maybe the most encouraging thing to come from week 1's win.
Yeah. Yesterday when they mentioned Uchenna was out, and I go, man, that's crazy that I'm excited. And you're like, what? I go, yeah, I'm excited because Uchenna's out, and that defense looked the way that it did. So, obviously, they're going to be a lot better with Uchenna. Here's the thing with the running back room. You got Zach Charbonnet, who I feel can fill the role as the number 1 running back. You also have Kenny McIntosh, who I feel can be the number 2. We'll see if they activate Helena, who also, Helena, am I saying his name right? Helena? The running back on the practice squad?
Oh, Helani.
Helani, sorry, Helani. I'm always jacking you up. Helani, who I feel like could be a good number 3. You want Ken Walker out there, of course. He is the big dog, RB1. But if he needs to sit for a game, I think you're fine. I think it'll be all right.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, the Dolphins host the Bills tonight on Thursday Night Football. What's the real headline?
I'll be speeding home to watch this one.
Aha. I see what you did there.
Oh, I see what you did. See what you did.
I'm just staring.
Don't roll that window up, though. You better keep that window down. Don't roll up that window.
I know. My windows aren't as tinted. You know, I got a Chevy.
Your windows are pretty tinted, though.
They are. It's part of why I got my car. It had a sunroof, it was red, and it had tinted windows.
Yeah.
And I was like, sign me up.
Did you see... I'm glad Rick Hill did this, too. He kind of came out and said, I didn't handle it the way it should have been handled. Thank you for being honest.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that you got to see the video for that to happen, but also want to remind people, like, humans are emotional, man. Like, everyone's not perfect in every situation, the cop or Rick Hill, so let's give some grace there. But as far as the game tonight, it should be a good one, man. It's this Bills defense capable of competing with the Dolphins. There's been a lot of movement on that defense. They lost some weapons on offense, we shall see. And then can Tua in this offense just be explosive? I think this is going to be a great game. I think the Dolphins are still going to pull this off. For the Bills to get it done, Josh Allen has to play out of his mind. He needs to throw for 2, rush for 1 or 2, and take care of that rock.
I love a really, really good divisional matchup in week 2 already. One that even not being in the AFC East, you're paying close attention to, because if the Dolphins have the season they want, if the Bills have the season they want, this is one of those games you look back at and wonder if it's a tiebreaker.
Right.
Fantasy football owners, Raheem Mostert is out of this one. Devon Achane could be a game time decision. He was questionable heading into it. So you are looking at a Miami Dolphins team that maybe they really, really lean into the pass. Maybe they test some of the Bills secondary, or maybe they do what the San Francisco 49ers did, and despite heading in without one of their best weapons on the ground, they still pick up yardage.
They're fine. Achane's going to be just fine being the number 1 back. They got options, man. The Dolphins are one of the few teams that can play whatever type of game that you want. And also, Mike McDaniels came from the 49ers, understands how to get these guys the football in space and misdirection and all that stuff. So I think the Dolphins will be fine. The bigger challenge is going to be on the Buffalo Bills, man. Can they be explosive enough to keep up with this team, and can they get 2 or 3 stops late to slow them down?
425 says, angry the Dolphins get extra days rest before we play them in week 3. Yeah, man, I hear you, but that's football. We're going to have that advantage as a team, heading into someone else's matchup. The Seahawks are going to get a Thursday night game, get some extra days, and then they'll have 10 days rest going to face a team that is coming off of 6 or 7. So it's just what happens. I still am really looking forward to week 3. A, you have home field advantage. That's the one thing you can say. Dolphins are traveling across the country to come here to Lumen. And B, I feel pretty good, Bump, about this secondary heading into week 2. I hope I feel really good about them heading into week 3. Let's talk about what we learned in week 1. That's next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
He is Mark Schlereth.
I thought it might be the best tackling performance I've ever witnessed in watching an NFL game by the Seahawks. I don't know that there was 2, 3, 4 yards after contact in that game by the Broncos. From the Broncos' perspective, it was one of the most pathetic performances I've watched. And at the same time, I was marveling at the Seahawks' ability to tackle, the way they broke on balls, the things they broke up.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Ready to take your Seahawks game day to the next level? From pregame sideline passes to postgame field goal kicks, create unforgettable memories with friends and family this season at Lumen Field. Visit Seahawks.com/game day experiences to level up your game day.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about football. Have fun, but be responsible on game day. Even if it's on your best friend's 100-inch, 4K, UDR, and surround sound. 5.1. If you feel sacked in the fourth quarter, a designated driver needs to take you to your end zone. If you get carried away with too many Bloody Marys after a few too many Hail Marys, call for a timeout. You get the point. Be safe on game day.
1-800-DUI-AWAY.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about Google. It's so important, it's a verb. Google it. Then check out our hundreds of 5-star Google reviews. They ended my case with such favorable results that even the judge was surprised. Give yourself the absolute best chance of staying out of jail and give Bradley Johnson a call. I contacted other firms with no call back. I then called Bradley Johnson and scheduled a meeting immediately. Google us.
1-800-DUI-AWAY.
This Thursday's Spotlight at Waterfront Park is Northwest Folklife's Super Folk. Come experience the brilliance, depth, and breadth of folk music. Thursday, September 12th at Waterfront Park on Pier 62. Celebrate the arts, cultures, and traditions that embody the Pacific Northwest. This free event is open to all ages, September 12th, 6 to 8 p.m. Seattle's new waterfront is being built for you. Come and enjoy it. Full schedule of events at waterfrontparkseattle.org. Brought to you by Friends of Waterfront Park.
Hey everybody, Bob Stelton here for Johnson Fitness and Wellness, where I got my home gym. Now the difference? Their expert staff. They ask great questions like, what are your fitness goals? What kind of space are you working with at home, and what's your budget? Johnson Fitness and Wellness experts get you the right machine for your home gym dream setup. And right now, in-store only while supplies last, mention this ad and our listeners get an indoor cycle for free with Select Force USA Home Gyms. Shop stores in Bellevue, Tacoma, Linwood, or visit johnsonfitness.com.
Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 windows, and 30 kiosks. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F-words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated. Forlorn even. Like your efforts are futile. And you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy. Seahawks Insider, brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. Now here's Maura Dooley.
Devin Witherspoon and Reek Woolen combined for one of the more impressive cornerback duo performances in Week 1 of the NFL. Woolen came up with an interception, and the pair combined to only allow 34 yards and a 14.6 passer rating. Yesterday, their teammate DK Metcalf spoke to reporters about the expectations for them this season.
I think Reek and Spoon are going to have 2 great years this year just from going against them in OTAs and training camp. I think they're 2 of the best corners in the league, especially that I get to go against them every day at practice. Iron sharpens iron. I mean, they're going to make me a better player throughout the whole season. But no, it does not surprise me that Reek is making those type of plays, on the defensive end.
The Seahawks Insider is brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. For the latest on the Seahawks anytime, go to seattlesports.com.
This is Stacey Rost. Is that leaky faucet driving you crazy? Don't wait until it becomes a flood. Call Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air. At Ben's Plumbing, they pride themselves on 5-star service, where your satisfaction is their priority. Whether it's a stubborn clog or a complete plumbing overhaul, their team of dedicated professionals is here to help with no commission sales tactics. Just honest, reliable service you can count on. Call today at 206-789-5353 or visit Ben's.plumbing. That's Ben's.plumbing.
Let's talk about your hair. Well, maybe after we talk about my hair. I've got great hair, as you know, and it's because of Advanced Hair. Yep, Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that I can attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but it's close to it. They put hair where you need it most, and bam, it grows. It's actual science. Advanced Hair has top-rated physicians, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins to regrow the very next day. It's even guaranteed to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now at 425-449-8185. Mention Curly to qualify for $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. It's a limited time offer. Advanced Hair, the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and the team that gave me my hair back. More importantly, they'll do the same for you, guaranteed. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with no credit financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right. Oh no! Someone said I hate that the Dolphins are going to be coming off because they're playing tonight for Thursday Night Football. They said, "Oh, I hate that the Dolphins are going to be coming off 10 days rest before they face the Seahawks in Week 3." I said, "Oh, everyone gets that advantage or disadvantage at some point in a season." 206 hit me with something I didn't know. They said, "Stacy, did you know the Hawks have like 6 games this year where their opponents have 3 or more days of rest?" 6.
6 of them things?
I didn't even realize that. 206. Gosh dang, I don't like that.
All right, I need your help again.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear me, right?
Yes.
All right, because this mic thing is backwards. The one in my house, the clicking is different, so it confuses me.
I'll also tell you guys, live radio, that we're remote. So if you ever can't hear us, just text in and tell us. Matt will get in our ears and yell, don't worry.
Oh, man.
You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. As you can tell, Bump and I are live from Virginia Mason Athletic Center, where in about an hour and a half, we're going to bring on Dave Wyman and have a 2-hour Seahawks preview for Week 2. I am feeling good about Week 2, and it feels so silly to feel too confident going into a game. You never want to overlook an opponent, even though I was just talking about looking forward to Miami, but There's so much to like, in particular about the defense and the secondary coming out of week 1. Let me tell you what a few folks had to say about it. Cut number 11, Mike Golick Jr., one half of Gojo and Golick, is joining us Wednesdays during the NFL season. He had this to say about the secondary.
Thought right off the bat, secondary looked awesome. Like, I'm partial, speaking to Domers, to Julian Love already, but I really think that when they signed him to that extension this offseason, I remember talking with Mina Kimes about this, had to be an indication that they clearly liked the role that he could play in Mike McDonald's defense. Maybe not quite Kyle Hamilton-esque to go with his Notre Dame brother, but maybe more Geno Stone. High-level guy, get his hands on a lot of football. Very few guys fitting that physical profile that Kyle brings to the table.
Let's talk about how Julian Love in particular, and maybe how a couple of these weapons could fit what you think Mike McDonald wants to be able to do defensively. Because I got to be honest, when we were talking about the differences between Baltimore and Seattle with Mike McDonald's transition to Seattle, one of the first things I thought was, well, he doesn't have Roquan. He's not going to have Kyle. He's not going to have Patrick Queen. And hearing Mike Golick Jr. say, yeah, Julian Love isn't Kyle Hamilton, but man, does he feel like a weapon that can uniquely suit Mike McDonald's defense? What do you see with that relationship?
Man, Julian Love plays with an intensity this year that I didn't see last year. And you play with intensity and with speed when you completely understand what your role is. Whenever you are second-guessing yourself in anything, in life or in sports, there's no way you're going to put out the production that you really want to. So when I watch film on Julian Love, which I'm doing right now, actually watching the secondary, I'm on my iPad, he's flying downhill and getting to his spot with complete confidence. And that's because he understands what he has to do, and he understands that or feels that he can trust the guys around him. I just watched they play the very first drive that the Broncos had, and Bo Nix is rolling to the right. And you got Witherspoon, who's responsible for the flat. There's a tight end running to the flat, and J-Love is over the top. And just the way they kept their spacing in relationship to the other routes. And then when the ball was thrown, how everybody starts flying downhill, they just look like a really confident football team. And it looks like J-Love might be one of the most confident out there. Why? He's a brand new man. Had a baby last season, got the contract this year, is the solidified starter on this team, and that does something to you. I remember when I got promoted to be a starter, you walk different, you talk different, you think differently about yourself. It elevates you because you have the confidence in an organization. They're saying, you're our guy. And that's what I see when I watch J-Love on film. And then you just talk about the football. I mean, when it's time for him to come downhill, when they start off in a two-high look, a two-shell look, two safeties, and there's a motion, one safety rolls down, he's rolling down, and he is flying to his spot with confidence. So, yeah, man, it's fun to watch how Mike McDonald has used the safeties so far. We got 1 week of of opportunity and a film to look at. So far, man, and you can do the same with both. Jenkins is just as good. I'm off of one game.
I was so blown
He's just as good. I love Jenkins.
All right, let's talk about some of these corners. Cut 12. Here's DK Metcalf on Reek and Spoon.
I think Reek and Spoon are going to have 2 great years this year just from going against them in OTAs and training camp. I think they're 2 of the best corners in the league, especially that I get to go against them every day at practice. Iron sharpens iron. I mean, they're going to make me a better player throughout the whole season. But no, it does not surprise me that Reek is making those type of plays, on the defensive end.
I mean, this is a compliment and in no way an insult to DK Metcalf, but every time I hear his press conferences, I always want to go, I mean this to Reek and Spoon. Like, he has the deepest voice, and I mean it as a compliment.
Yeah.
Like, my guy has a very deep voice. Reek and Spoon will have big years. Iron sharpens iron. Now, a teammate is always going to speak highly of another teammate, but I do think that is genuine praise for the development of these 2 young corners, both of whom looked really good in week 1, and both of whom really stood out to us during training camp in the preseason, particularly Reek Wolin.
Yeah, these guys are both Pro Bowlers, and it's not by accident. You look at Reek's first year with his 6 interceptions and 14 passes defended. He deserved it. You look at Witherspoon and what he did last year. He definitely deserved it. So you get a stamp of approval early in your career. right? The fans and your peers vote you on to be on the Pro Bowl. I talked about the confidence that J Love has now that he's a guy. These guys play with that same confidence. Reek is playing with a chip on his shoulder. Last year, people pointed out, oh, he didn't have the greatest year. His year was not as good as his first year, but when you look at the numbers weren't as bad either. I think people focus on just his tackling. And when he was asked to set the edge, he didn't do a great job of doing that. But even off of one game, I see more physicality out of that young man. You know, being a willing tackler is a mentality, it's a philosophy, and I think that's something that Mike McDonald's bringing out of him. You legit have two corners that can lock down a side. That's what made that other defense, I'm not going to say their name, all right, because Michael Bennett told us to stop it, okay? But that other defense, they had corners that could lock down a side. You didn't have to, safety just didn't have to overplay to help them. The safeties could drop back into their zone or roll up if they needed to, and they were fine and good to go. I think you have that again. One game in, you went up against the Denver Broncos. I understand that. Let's see how they look this week against the New England Patriots. But one game in, I think you have two corners that can lock down the sides, which allow these safeties to freelance a bit more. And that's what made Earl so great. He was the best freelancer in the game. And why was he the best freelancer in the game? Because he had locked down corners. He had defensive linemen who were going to do their job. So now he was able to back there and just react to the football.
Is it really hard not to, well, first of all, overreact to week one, which I will admit I have a hard time not doing. Is it hard, though, not to look at week one and think how much of what wasn't working was coaching? And I don't necessarily mean Carroll. I mean from all over. I mean a philosophy. I mean habits, whatever it was. Because, again, Carroll coached up one of the best modern defenses we have ever seen.
Right.
So this isn't to take away from his legacy nor what he's perfectly capable of doing, which is creating elite playmakers. But I am shocked at how much of the same personnel has blown me away in 1 week.
Here's the thing, too, man. Coaching always affects what's going on. It could be the message. It could be the way things are being taught. It can be the way that things are being said. But Reek Woolen was still on this team when Pete was here. He was a Pro Bowler. Devin Witherspoon was still on this team when Pete was here. He's a Pro Bowler. That Pete organization picked up Julian Love. Like, they saw something in him and were preparing for the future when they picked him up. I think the biggest difference you see out of this team when it comes to coaching of personnel has to be on that second level when we're talking about these linebackers. The addition of Jenkins is huge as well. I'm going to continue to point him out. But, yeah, they had some of the same players. And when I point out Devin Witherspoon and Reek Woolen, they still had themselves a couple good years. But now we're looking at just the defense as a whole and how the speed and the violence of this defense just feels different with this group. And I think a lot of that is because of the freshness and the newness of this group. And then you combine that with the additions of Baker, Dotson, Jenkins, and Byron Murphy on that defensive line. So it's a combination of things. Could Pete Carroll and that coaching staff do the same thing with this defense? Maybe in a different way. But I think that the motivation is different with this team because of that newness. It's like you're trying to impress someone all over again.
Yeah.
I remember when we had a new coordinator come in here. I forgot who it was my second year. Like, everyone perks up a little bit. You sit a little taller in your chair. You're taking in what he's saying because this is all fresh and new. When you're hearing the same thing over and over and over again, you know what he's going to say. I can finish my wife's sentences sometimes when we're watching a movie because I've been with her 16 years. You know, I can anticipate a whole bunch of things. With this group, I think that newness in the first few weeks is really going to jump off the screen. Now you got to make that newness a part of who you are every single day and ride that wave as long as you can.
Ryan Rowland-Smith is joining us in about 20 minutes to get back to the Mariners and a phenomenal day from Brian Wu. Before we get to that, though, Bump, are you ready, and don't tell me now, to make an Apple Cup prediction?
Oh, stay ready.
I think I know who you're going to say. Hype Train coming your way next.
In week 2, the Seahawks head to New England to face the new-look Patriots.
Check in the dictionary under answer, and that's what the Seahawks offense just did.
Can Coach McDonald's defense continue their dominance in Foxborough?
Goes back in the middle, intercepted, and it's Reek Woolen who steps right in front of the receiver, Cortland Sutton.
Seahawks, Patriots, kickoff at 10 a.m. Pre-game coverage starting at 7.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
On your home for the Hawks, Seattle Sports.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs. allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hey, it's Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy, inviting you to come to work for IRG. With just over 40 locations in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, you have the opportunity to work in the city and place you want with a great team, a great atmosphere, and great mentorship.
Shannon, what type of staff are you looking to hire? Is it just clinical staff right now?
We are looking to hire not only physical therapists, but also occupational therapists, exercise techs, athletic trainers, front office coordinators. We have a whole platform of different services we provide to the community.
Over 40 clinics in the Pacific Northwest. There are openings across the whole company. Head over to irgpt.com/careers and apply today. But Shannon, will they have any fun coming to work at IRG?
Oh my gosh, Brock, that's what it's all about. We want to have fun. We're all about passion. We're all about positivity. We want people to change lives. That's what we're doing here at IRG. We're changing lives, not only of our employees, our patients, and our communities. We want you to be your best self.
So head over to irgpt.com/careers, irgpt.com/careers, and apply today.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible, it's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Stacey Rost here. It's time to recognize a woman in our sports community with the 2024 Women of Inspiration Award. The nominations are in, and the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events, needs your help selecting a winner. Voting is open now until September 20th at woiseattle.org. The winner will receive a generous cash donation from WISE and their partners for the cause of their choice. Help honor a local woman today. Vote by September 20th at woiseattle.org.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Prostate cancer is the second most common cancer in males. When detected early, it can be curable. Swedish CyberKnife offers a non-invasive and highly precise treatment for prostate cancer, typically requiring only 5 treatments. CyberKnife patients experience minimal side effects and can continue normal activities during treatment. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
At Shane Company, we'll help you create a ring as unique as your love story. We have the biggest selection of diamonds in all shapes and sizes, and center stones in an array of colors, including sapphires in blue, pink, green, lavender, and more. Just the other day, a couple picked out a blue sapphire that perfectly matched her eyes, and they left knowing her ring was truly one of a kind. That's what happens at Shane Company. Come check us out. You might just fall in love with something unexpected. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
I was just talking about 90 Day Fiancé, Matt and Curtis. Bump and I are away from you guys. We miss you guys. Do you miss us?
Sure. I mean,
you guys don't
kinda.
You guys don't sound sad enough for our liking.
I'm good.
I'm really sad.
Am I the only thing keeping us together as a show? Let's head to the station for Hype Train.
It's a distance makes the heart grow fonder thing.
That's exactly what it is. Well, again, Bump and I live from Virginia Mason Athletic Center. The Huddle starts in about an hour, but right now we are at the station for Hype Train, and I'm starting with, of course, an Apple Cup preview. I can't believe it's already here. I mean, I'm going to be able to drink an iced coffee and wear a T-shirt and watch the Apple Cup. The Cougs beat the Huskies to win the Apple Cup. Bump, are you boarding?
What?
I know.
What?
It's so stupid. It's the stupidest question I'll ask you today.
I'm the conductor of this train. All right? Yeah, I'm on that thing, man. 27-21. I said it yesterday. The only thing I'm mad about is that I'm not going to be able to go to the game. I got to work. CW, man, I appreciate the opportunity you guys are giving me, but you could have scheduled me for the dang Apple Cup. But yeah, it's going down. Mateer's going to rush for 150, throw for 202 touchdowns.
What game are you covering for?
I'm studio, so I'm just bouncing around, covering a bunch of games.
Very red zone of you. The Cougs beat the Huskies to win the Apple Cup. Bump says, I'm not just boarding the train, I'm the conductor, and I spit out some of my coffee. Curtis, are you boarding this train?
I mean, Bump changing it up from yesterday.
I want UW to win the Apple Cup.
Go Dogs.
Very interesting, Bump, that we have that recorded audio of you actually truly saying that unedited sound. Can we hear it one more time?
Absolutely. I want UW to win the Apple Cup.
Go Dogs.
Wow. Interesting. Interesting.
The Go Dogs, I mean, just really
That's the smoothest transition.
Yeah,
it's the passion he has when he says it. Curtis, are you boarding this train?
I am not going to board this train. I think I'll be rooting for the Cougs, though, in this one. But I think the Huskies, it's going to be a very purple crowd, I would imagine, at Lumen Field. Not really a neutral site considering the distance between Lumen Field and Husky Stadium. Although Sean Payton would tell you it's an hour away from Husky Stadium, but it's not. I think the Huskies win on Saturday.
I'm not boarding this train. Bumps on it on his own, but go figure, I'm a dog, so of course I'm not boarding this train.
I'm outnumbered, man.
Outnumbered?
This is bull.
I'll tell you what's
You and
outnumbered.
Matt
Your linebackers
are dogs. Curtis.
Matt, are you even boarding
Curtis,
this
I thought
train?
we were cool. I guess not.
I said I'd be rooting for the Cougs. I just don't think they're going to win.
Yeah, Curtis, not a UW fan at all.
I need you to root blindly. Don't use any logic. Just come on, man. Goodness gracious.
Next up. All of mine are game predictions with the exception of the fourth one. The Seahawks heading to Gillette in week 2. Going to be a 10 a.m. kickoff for this one. You guys don't forget to set your alarms. The Seahawks start this season 2-0 with a win against the Patriots.
This is Mike McDonald's first trip on the road, right? I wonder how much information he got from the last regime and said, look, this is how I turned things around when it came to playing on the road. When I played for the Hogs, we were garbage on the road. I remember we played, at 10 a.m. kickoff. It felt like it was 7 a.m. I'm sleepy. Everyone's tired. It was a debacle. And then the New York Football Giants whooped our butt. But how much is he going to take from Pete and make his own?
Right.
And I think this is an opportunity for him to grow as a coach. I think it's an opportunity for this defense to back up what they did last week and for the offense to take a step forward. I think it's going to be a tough game, but I think the Hawks get her done.
The Seahawks start the season 2-0 with a win against the Patriots. Bump is aboard this train. Curtis, are you going to join him?
I think they started 2-0. Yeah, I think they are going to not roll the Patriots, but I think they're going to be able to come away with a nice win. And, I mean, the urgency is there, even in just week 2, because their schedule coming up. You've got the Dolphins, who we learned will have extended rest heading into week 3. The Lions in week 4. You get a little breather against the Giants in week 5, but then you've got the Niners Falcons, Bills, Rams, it is going to be really tough after week 2. So the importance is there for this game. I think the Seahawks recognize that and pick up the victory against the Patriots.
I am also boarding this train.
Is that you?
Yes. Matt and I recorded it in secret.
I'm gone for one day. One day we got Bump and Stump, Dump and Stinky. We got all aboard. I like this.
Of course I'm boarding this train. It's not just because I was so impressed by what the Seahawks were able to do defensively in week 1. It's because not even the Patriots think they're going to win this season. They know that because they traded Matthew Judon, their best defensive player, or certainly one of them, and they don't even have enough faith in their offensive line to start their number 3 overall pick with Drake May. Instead, they put out a backup. They don't have faith in their own season. They see this as maybe culture building, rebuilding, learning about themselves. Gerard Mayo with trying to figure out and put the pieces together. Now, Gerard Mayo, heck of a job. Tip of the cap to week 1 and what they were able to do on the ground, especially 120 plus yards from Ramondre Stevenson. It's going to be a challenge, a much bigger challenge than the Broncos. I still think the Seahawks win this one. Next up. Okay, one more game prediction, and then I have a fun one. It's about Thursday Night Football, of course. Dolphins beat the Bills.
Dolphins beating the Bills. Here's the thing about the Buffalo Bills is that there's so much more responsibility on the man Josh Allen. I think he is obviously an MVP candidate type of dude. You got young receivers, Keon Coleman over there. Your defense looks a bit different this year. I think they're still going to figure themselves out, and I think they're going to be fine. I think they will make the playoffs, but I think the season is different for them. The Bills are used to coming out and 4 or 5 weeks in, lighting things up, and everything feels good. So because of the change that's happening with the Bills and because of the consistency with the Dolphins, I gotta roll with MIA. 2 in the game gets it done.
All right, Bump is boarding. The Dolphins beat the Bills tonight, Thursday Night Football. Curtis, are you boarding alongside Bump?
I'm not, but I just want to get to the last one.
Okay. Next up. So, Bump, you have an iced coffee, right? You typically do get, well, you kind of go 50-50, but you are an iced coffee drinker.
No, I'm a cold brew all day.
Cold brew all day? Okay.
I've mixed it up today.
I almost always get iced coffee. And the only time I don't is like when pumpkin spice lattes hit the market. I get one, and then I flip right back. You know what I mean? I'll take my iced coffee into Marshall's. I'll take my iced coffee into TJ Maxx and Maxinista. I'll take my iced coffee in the snow. I don't care. However, I know that some people think that that is an insane thing to do. This is your hype train. 35 degrees. I'm talking outside temperature. 35 degrees is the cutoff for when it's sane to purchase iced coffee. You cannot purchase iced coffee when it is sub 35 degrees outside.
I'm not on that train because it's really like 45, honestly.
Wait, what?
As soon as you gotta throw, as soon as you have to like really think about how many layers you need to put on, which is around 45 to me, then the iced coffee is done. I just imagine standing in the cold holding the coffee in my hand.
It's so delicious and
freezing.
refreshing.
Nah, I'm good on the
You're
cold.
insane. Bump, for some wild reason, is boarding this train.
Wow.
Now, he adjusted it, so technically he's not, but I'll have him board the train, basically, that there is a cutoff in general, temperature-wise, for when you no longer can purchase iced coffee. Curtis, are you boarding?
Limit does not exist.
Thank
you
you.
can purchase iced coffee no matter the temperature. The colder the better, I say.
It keeps it cold.
It does. Yeah, it's not cold. The ice isn't melting on you.
Exactly. I could be trapped at a research facility in the Antarctic, and I would still be like, is there a Starbucks nearby? Do you guys have?
425 says iced coffee's only good when it's over 70. Okay, so you're having iced coffee like 2 months out of the year at that point.
Yeah, no, iced coffee is truly the best form of coffee. Like go to a brunch and you get like a nice cup of hot coffee. Sure, fine, I get it. I understand the concept of hot coffee. I get it.
I feel like hot coffee's been around way longer than cold brew.
Oh, for sure. I'm just saying, iced coffee, there is no cutoff. If it's snowing, I want you guys to feel that this is a safe space for you to get iced coffee. Don't listen to Bump. Don't listen to him. He'll judge you. He'll judge you outright, but don't listen to him. Ryan Roland Smith joins us next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
We've got answers about the linebackers. We certainly got answers about the secondary, the defense as a whole. I felt like we got answers. But the other question mark was the O-line.
After those first two series, if somebody had told you, K9's going to get 100 yards, no chance. I think there's going to be a lot of repair. I think, and the other thing too is it's a good thing that Charles Cross took that step.
Yeah,
because he really did. He took that step to be a leader and to be the best offensive lineman on that line.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
O'Brien Auto Group has some of the best new car brands in the Northwest. Those great new vehicles make the best pre-owned vehicles as well. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for the best factory certified vehicles. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for a large selection of the best pre-owned cars and trucks. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. Choose from hundreds of SUVs, trucks, hybrids, EVs, and more. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. One site is all you need. That's OBRIEN Autogroup.com.
O'Brien. I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. I'm a fifth-generation Pacific Northwesterner, graduated from UW and Seattle U School of Law. At Warrior Injury Law, we have years of experience in the trenches, fighting insurance companies for the people of Washington, my people. If you've been injured, you need a lawyer that is tough, confident, and battle-tested. Call us at 253-WARRIOR for your free case review. Warrior Injury Law, battle-tested.
Eddie's! It's that time again. Sunbanks Resort in Electric City, Washington is hosting 2 upcoming music festivals. September 5th through the 8th, Sunbanks Blues and Roots Festival. And September 12th through the 15th, 2024, Sunbanks Rocks. Live music against the backdrop of Banks Lake near Grand Coulee Dam at the beautiful Sunbanks Lake Resort. Call Sunbanks Resort at 509-633-3786, extension 1 to reserve your campsite. Offering tents, RVs, and lodging from the basic cabins to houses that sleep up to 12.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
To me, the LJ way is to provide an experience that people really enjoy being a part of. And they enjoy being a part of it because they're getting great service. They're talking with somebody that actually they feel cares about them. They care about what their impression is going to be walking away. It's also understanding you're now part of our family, and thank you for doing the business with us. And this is how we're going to show our appreciation through customer service. We're going to show our appreciation with taking care of you if you ever have an issue. The majority of the people that are coming to see us are within our community. These are people who are providing maybe services that we also use in our community. So the LJ way, to me, somebody can come into a retail setting and not feel like they got to have their guard up. And that's been a long-standing thing in the car business that, you know, we've tried to shake.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Have you tried the dining district at the Bellevue Collection? Grab lunch with friends, meet up for happy hour, and stay for dinner and beyond. You can sample international flavors and local favorites from talented chefs. Try a new cocktail on a rooftop bar or watch the game with friends and explore the lively nightlife scene. The Dining District at the Bellevue Collection, where your taste adventure begins. Learn more at BellevueCollection.com/dining district.
With Floor Coverings International, the mobile flooring showroom comes to you. Book an appointment, pick out the flooring you like, and they'll order and install it for you. It's that easy. Visit FCIFloors.com to book an appointment. Floor Coverings International, the stars of flooring.
John here with Happy Hauler. Furniture and household items you plan to throw away? We'll take them and prioritize donating and recycling, keeping items out of the landfill. Happy Hauler is Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Dolphins and Bills face off tonight for Thursday night football. Miami's backfield's entering this one with a ton of injuries. Raheem Mostert's already been declared out, so look for the Fins to lean into the pass. The Mariners beat the Padres yesterday thanks to a phenomenal outing from Brian Wu, who carried a perfect game into the 7th. Next up, they'll open a series against the Rangers tonight at 6:40 p.m. Pre-game show starts at 5:30 right here on Seattle Sports.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Floor Coverings International.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline is Ryan Roland Smith talking Mariners. Ryan, how's it going?
Good. How you guys doing?
Fantastic. Obviously coming off a Mariners win, and in particular a phenomenal performance from Brian Wu. I mean, how blown away were you by his day?
Yeah, I mean, he's got it in him, right? That I'm not going to call it, perfect games like it's easy to do or no-hit stuff, but he really does. And I think, last night was – for so many different reasons. First of all, time of the year. I've been banging on about, with Brian Wu and Bryce Miller, who we're going to see tonight. Can they sustain, 6 months of baseball? Now, I know Brian Wu's had a couple, built-in little, didn't mean to, but we're going to, with the hamstring and elbow, start the year off, on the IL and everything else, which kind of, essentially at this point in the year, it's kind of a little bit of that blessing in disguise, but it's September. You've had, you're reaching 20 starts. It's that point where it's like, okay, the league starts to catch up to you, especially when you're as good as he is, the numbers he's putting up. So all of a sudden, people start catching on to the fact that, all right, this guy's going to be in the strike zone a ton. Not to mention, the team he's pitching against is literally the toughest team, A, to strike out, and B, to avoid, contact against, especially second, third time through the lineup. And so that was the most impressive thing for me was he was getting some swing and miss early on. Then he didn't. But he didn't, start getting away from the plate. He didn't start getting into these 2-1 counts because he's trying to avoid contact. That's the one thing with Brian Wu, man. He's just so settled in the fact that, I'm going to have this upshoot fastball on the top of the strike zone, and the hitters are just going to make weak contact. And he just leans into that so heavily. I mean, he's 80% fastballs last night. And the results just speak for themselves. So really, really impressive. I loved his reaction too when he got taken out of the game. He was frustrated, and you love to see that because a player at that age, at this point in your career, sometimes you get to a place where you're going to get that standing O. You feel like it's becoming a little easier than what you maybe anticipated, and you can get a little bit comfortable. And you can get a little bit – I'm not saying you're going to get lazy, but you get a little bit comfortable in the fact that, I'm just going to get weak contact all day long, and he was frustrated. So it was just the whole thing was great, good to see, and the fact you have a guy at his age, Bryce Miller, right next to him, doing what they're doing, man, it's huge.
Hey Ryan, you've coached before, more of a trainer and camp and all that stuff. But before our football games, as a coordinator and head coach, I watch my team warm up, right, and I can tell how the game is going to go. At least the start of the game is going to go based off of our warm-up. I'm like, guys, we're not locked in. Yeah. Receivers are dropping footballs. Like, it's going to be rough to start this game. We got to weather the storm. Have you had that feeling with a pitcher? Because Wu was talking about how he did not feel good when he was warming up. And all of a sudden he goes out there and he does what he did yesterday. Have you had that feeling as a coach or as a player where you observe a kid not really locking in, or you yourself weren't really feeling good, and then you go out there and have a great performance?
Yeah, on both sides, right? So, from a coaching side, I haven't done anything major league level, obviously, or professional level, but I have had kids who are super nervous, didn't sleep the night before because they've got some recruiters watching them, and they've got 3 to 4 innings before they fly back on a 14-hour flight to try and get a college scholarship, So in that sense, and you can totally tell, like the minute you see them, just their mannerisms, their nonverbals, and, just on that, it's one of these ones where, they'll be spraying the ball all over the place, and they're trying to get nasty in the bullpen because, they're trying to find that. And you just basically have to give little keywords. All right, hey, let's try and get 0-1 every time. It sounds super simple. All right, let's feel that front foot. All right, let's keep that. Where's that chin going? Little mini things like that, where all the other, the oh man, are they going to, give me that visit to the campus and then give me a 60% scholarship goes out the head, because you need that in the next hour and a half. Now, from a professional standpoint, the games where, Shannon Dreyer asked me last night, hey, have you ever been close to a no-hitter? And the closest I got was going into the 7th inning twice against the Blue Jays. And I remember vividly both those games, I started warming up, feel a little bit tight. The shoulder just feels like something's up with it. You're not getting that good, fingers on top of the ball to get that good depth on that slider. And that's where I got into trouble. I remember if my slider kind of, spun on the plate, especially the lefties. And I remember vividly, it was a hot day. It was in Seattle, I remember, on a Sunday. And I remember those games because they're the ones that you get 15, 20 pitches in. And I was one of those guys that I had to, throw a good pitch in the warm-ups, and I had to, confirm it by doing another one and another one. Next thing you know, I'm 15 extra pitches in. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm just burning myself out. You can feel it in the third. But sometimes with those games, with those warm-up sessions, they're the best because it makes you make those little mini adjustments, or you tell yourself and you coach yourself in the nick of time to say, all right, what are the little layman's terms things I'm doing? I teach a 12-year-old to get me into this moment, because the days, I'm telling you right now, the days where I'm like, man, I haven't missed a spot all day. You go out in the game, and I'm telling you, your mind drifts a little bit away from how do I make those quick adjustments. And then you get in the second inning, third inning, and you're like, man, I need to get a lot faster now with my heart rate through the roof and the crowd's loud. I can't get it. So I think those games that when you pitch long enough, you kind of feel like, okay, this is kind of good. The fact that the ball's spraying everywhere, it's forcing me to get dialed in, keep things simple, and get in the moment. So, Brian, when you hear a pitcher say that, Nolan Ryan used to talk about that. I mean, the guy, command was always his biggest issue, even though he's super nasty. But he said the best games he had, and the ones where he was, firing off those no-hitters or close to, man, he just didn't have it in the bullpen. It just forces you first, second inning, set that tone with yourself to get locked in.
Cal Raleigh was a guest on Mookie Betts' podcast, and they were talking about Brian Wu. And you've already said so much about Brian Wu in terms of what you see from him as a pitcher. So instead, much like Bump, I wanted to ask you a personal experience question. Like Cal, have you ever had a teammate where you just remained so impressed with him or so blown away by his development, or, maybe you'd talk him up to other players or stop to watch ABs or starts for him?
Oh, man, I'm trying to think back, especially because I was a pitcher, right? So, I'm trying to think back. So, and he's a buddy of mine, and so I don't want to say things that are ripping him. But look, Brandon Morrow, right now, if you remember, I don't know if you guys remember Brandon Morrow, but just that natural, easy delivery, upper 90s fastball, and this split. And you'd go and you'd play catch with them. You're like, oh, my God, man, that thing just gets on you quick. And he throws that split. It's like, please don't throw this at 80%. You know what I mean? Like, just keep it. Because you just had that stuff. And the thing, and he mentions this too. Now, he lives in Seattle. I don't know if he's driving around. Listen to this. But he even admitted this. When he was with the Mariners those first couple of years, everything kind of came easy to him. And the organization, he was a big priority in the organization, as everyone knows. And they kind of let him go out and kind of set the tone for how things were going to go. And it wasn't a good thing. And then he said he went to the Blue Jays, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, man, you want to pitch in the big leagues here, you got to prove to us we don't care who you are. We didn't draft you. And all of a sudden that it kind of slapped him in the face a little bit. And I remember watching him. The minute he went to the Blue Jays, he was like, okay, now that's Brandon Morrow. And I'd watch him go, man, like this is going to be you could just see the hitter's reaction was so different. And you could just see how much more, committed he was to refining some of the things he had to do. So watching him because you always track the teammates you had, guys that get traded away, and especially on the pitching side, always watching, see how their career goes. And just watching him, I'm watching him pitch in the playoffs with the Cubs and the Dodgers, and just go, man, look at this. Because it was just effortless. It was one of these ones where you're like, all right, if he gets ahead in the count here, it's game over. And that's where he got to. Now, he had some massive injuries and stuff he had to deal with. But watching him pitch when he was in the Mariners uniform, he got hit around a little bit. And he had to, he kind of had that mindset, which wasn't the best, I don't think, for him development-wise. Then when he went away, it all clicked for him. But watching him, I remember, whether it be starting or in the bullpen, little things came easy to him in regards to stuff or the way he moved down the mound.
Ron, we've had a few weeks now of Dan Wilson, and I listened to him post-game, and I try to get into his mind and say, where is he mentally? And I think he's doing a good job of finding the little victories, right? 4 out of the last 5 games, you got 10 hits, but you're not driving the runners in. I'm asking you to speculate, right? But if you are Dan Wilson, how important is it that you do find those little victories? Because if you make the playoffs this year, so be it, but you're trying to build something. How do you think he's done with that when trying to find these little victories?
Well, I think it's interesting because when they announced that Dan Wilson was taking over, it wasn't a situation, hey, man, go babysit for the next couple of weeks. And if that was the case, it would be, hey, guys, just go out and play, and I'll try and help you out the best I can. But the difference is, and you hit on this, building those relationships. If he's in this, and it looks like it will be, into 2025, and you have this young nucleus of players, guys who they're going to be in uniform with the Mariners in 2025, and we're talking about the core of this team. Now, there's going to be guys who essentially get traded away, guys who decide not to come back, they're free agents or whatever. But when you're talking about, all right, a Cal Raleigh who's front and center in regards to what kind of relationship you have to build with him, because he's your catcher. He's here next year. He's ARB eligible. He's going to be more expensive, but he's not going anywhere. You've got your entire rotation essentially, unless they decide to trade someone away, they're not going anywhere either. And so when you are in a position like this, yes, okay, you want to make the playoffs. You're 3.5 games out. You're 6.5 games not too long ago. You have a situation where Edgar Martinez is kind of thrown into the fire here on the hitting side to somehow say the right things right before they go up to hit, to try and fix a situation where, hey, look, we can't do anything with 2 strikes. What's those words of wisdom going to be? All right, Pete Woodworth, tell me when we make changes in the bullpen, what do you got? And building a relationship with him and that report so they're on the same page so you can make the game speed decisions. So I think it's really, really important. And on top of it all, the biggest thing you need to do, and you can go around the league, right? I'm talking Pat Murphy with the Milwaukee Brewers, new manager with them after Craig Counsell left, who was essentially, everyone called him, the best manager. He got paid the most to go to the Cubs. You've got, Stephen Vogt over with the Cleveland Guardians. You've got, Joe Espada with the Astros. And so you're in a position where the biggest thing with these teams is how do you have that relationship where you are going to garner the respect from this team, because it's not all going to be roses. It's not going to be, hey, we're 3.5 games back, taking over and good vibes. Everyone loves Dan Wilson. It's going to get to a place where you're going to be in a tough spot. And will the team have your back? Will they trust you? And will you be able to give them everything they need? So it's super important, and especially and I go back to this, if they put Dan Wilson in this seat to finish the season, it's completely different. The fact that he's basically been named the guy in 2025, and you've got pretty much a lot of these guys midst of their career in that year 3, year 4 mark, man, it's super important. It starts obviously now in order to make all this, be a good spot for them to be in 2025. And again, look, everyone's going for the playoffs. I get it. And the other thing is too, Dan Wilson's not going to give you a whole lot. And it's not because he doesn't have a whole lot. It's just his style. I feel like he's just not giving you a whole lot post-game because he comes from a generation where they weren't so transparent in regards to what they tell everyone.
He is Ryan Roland-Smith. Thanks so much for talking about Brian Wu and taking a look at this season with us, Ryan. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Ryan. Good. Thanks, guys.
All right, you guys, let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, what's a name being mentioned with Justin Jefferson's that deserves some love?
Man, his name is Lance Allworth. And if you don't know who Lance Allworth is, I remember as a kid watching NFL films. Man, it's this receiver from the San Diego Chargers back in the 60s, and he's moving like the athletes do today. And I dove in, I started watching more film of Lance Allworth, and this dude was a baller. He's considered probably the best receiver of all time in the AFL, one of the greatest of all time. If you don't know about Lance Allworth, go ahead and check him out. He's my second favorite receiver of all time. But the reason why he's being brought up is Justin Jefferson has 396 catches for 5,958 yards. In his career so far. So he's going to probably reach the 400 catch, 6,000 yard milestone on Sunday. And if he does that, he'll do it in 62 games. That'll be the fastest any receiver has ever gotten there. Lance Allworth was the guy who holds the record in front of him. So, yeah, it just brought a smile to my face, man, because when I started playing football in high school, and then started studying more in college, and the older I get, the more I look at Lance Allworth, that he could play in today's game. There's some guys back in that day, you look at their athleticism, it's just different. You know, they can't do it. But there are some guys like Gale Sayers who can play in today's game. Some linebackers who I feel like could have played in like the 2000s. But Lance Allworth was so dang smooth, wore no gloves. I don't think anyone wore gloves in the 60s anyway. But his movements, his stride, his ball skills, it could fit today's game. So when I saw Justin Jefferson, arguably the best receiver in the game today, I'm going to pass a milestone set by my second favorite receiver of all time. It just made me smile, man. So you youngsters out there, if you're listening, what are you doing? Go to school. But if you are listening, go check out film of Lance Allworth. I love that dude.
Second down. What analysis of a quarterback makes you think we may see another rookie sooner rather than later?
Yeah, so I'm reading up on Kirk Cousins, and Chase Daniels is doing a breakdown. He goes, look, man, when Kurt was healthy, when he didn't have his leg injury, he put one foot in front of the other when he gets into his shotgun position, and he can drive off that leg a bit more. He says now his feet are parallel, and he sees him not driving the football the way that he used to. If you look at his charts from last week, he only threw the ball down the field tough around, 2 or 3 times over 15 yards. That could be the defense, it could be the route combinations or whatnot. But when you hear an older quarterback that is having problems pushing off his base and firing the football in, you got to think, what about the youngster that you have on the bench over there? And then you come out that first week and you don't win a ball game. So I'm looking at Kirk Cousins, man. He's been paid. He has finessed this league. He's a great regular season quarterback. Him and Dak, one of the best regular season quarterbacks we've seen in our generation. You might see Michael Penix because Chase Daniels is saying he doesn't think he is 100% healthy. I went back, I watched some of the film. He looks all right, but he doesn't look like he's driving the way that he used to. Father Time's undefeated. You add an injury to that. It's going to be tough. So you dogs out there, and me, I'm a Michael Penix fan myself. Yeah. I don't care. I went to Wazoo. It don't matter. Real recognize real. That dude can play. I'd love to see him this year, but not at the expense of Cousins. I hope he's not like hurt or anything like that. But if you make a move, I'll be all right with it. And after week 1, I'm sure coaches are having conversations.
I mean, it could be that he's certainly not fully healthy. I know Aaron Rodgers obviously starting in week 1 after tearing his Achilles as well, but that happened, 5 weeks prior to Kirk Cousins doing it? Like, had the Falcons not drafted Michael Penix Jr., I wonder if Kirk wouldn't have started week 1, 2, or 3, if they would have rested him just a little bit longer, but you don't want a quarterback controversy. Third down. Besides the Hawks and Patriots, what game are you going to be watching closely?
All right, obviously we're going to watch the Hawks and the Patriots. That is our squad. But I'm looking at this is like a prove-it game to me. This guy came out the first week, and people are saying he's always been good. He's just been in horrible situations. Baker Mayfield is taking on the Detroit Lions. Can he back it up? You're going on the road. You will be indoors. The elements will be fine. But you're playing against the Detroit Lions. Are you able to back up all the fun? And now I got to look at my guy Sam Darnold, man. You're going up against the 49ers, dog. You're going against the 49ers. I've been asking for Sam Darnold all year. I want to see what he does the first week. He goes out there and gets it done. You're going to lose this game against the San Francisco 49ers, right?
You don't know that.
You're going to lose.
You don't know it.
But can you look like a starter in this league? I want to see if Sam Darnold can back it up. And then the last one that I'm really going to be paying attention to, I'm looking at the Carolina Panthers. That's the car accident that I can't stop watching.
Oh, God.
Can you compete? Just look competitive against the Los Angeles Chargers. Bryce Young. I pray for protection. I pray for execution. I want you to be fine and look capable in this league, because if not, it's going to be a short season for my man.
Do you remember the draft conversation around Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, and how much of it was about Bryce Young having football IQ, smarts, leadership ability, and Stroud having physical ability, and then wondering how much of that might have been driven by just kind of people
around him?
Yeah, exactly. Or just like a really unfair narrative, like making it out as though CJ Stroud, oh, he's just got physical weapons and that's it. Really? I don't know if you succeed. I mean, you can succeed with just physical weapons through college when you're just insanely gifted, but as a quarterback, that's hard. You kind of get found out.
My question with the Bryce Young and CJ Stroud conversation, these teams sat down with both of them.
Yeah.
You sit down with both, no knock on Bryce, but CJ just got something different about him.
Yeah.
You know, Bryce is a humble young man, and I hope he goes out and changes the narrative about him. But there's no way I sit in the room after sitting in the room with Bryce, after sitting in the room with CJ, and say, yeah, I want that one. Nah, CJ's the guy. But Bryce, man, come on. I'm rooting for you, man. Get it done.
Would you call me crazy if I said Bryce throws 3 touchdowns in this game?
No, I like I said, I pray for that too. I pray for Bryce to throw 3 touchdowns.
Pray for touchdowns. 4th down. How do the Seahawks get a win on Sunday?
You mean the top 10 defense?
Oh, God. Yeah,
the
my bad.
Seahawks
My apologies.
with the
My
top
apologies.
10 defense. This is how they do it. It's something we've asked for years now. Just stop the run. That's all you got to do. Last week, the Patriots rushed 39 times for 170 yards. Jacoby Brissett threw it 15 times for 24 yards, 15 out of 24 for 121 yards. Who was sacked 1 time. Here's the thing. Jacoby Brissett is no chump. He can play in this league, but he's not the guy who's going to take over the game. Last week, he threw 3 passes over 15, or 2 passes over 15 yards. Everything else is underneath. I'm looking at this back end. If you can control the box and get after this quarterback, I'm so confident in Reek and even Trey Brown. We didn't even talk about Trey Brown. When they go nickel, Trey Brown goes in. Spoon moves to the nickel. We're good there. With Jenkins, with Wallace, I'm so confident in this back end that if you're stopping the run, that means you're controlling the line of scrimmage. So when you do get into a pass situations, you're able to get into the backfield and cause havoc for Jacoby Brissett. It's simple. It's something we've been asking for years here in Seattle. If they can just stop the run, they will win this ball game. Go get her done.
At least we can take something from this. Like, Williams had been hurt previously for the Broncos, and they were such a bad team last year, you weren't sure what to read into it. I don't know that we were expecting the Patriots to be a good team this year, but they at least were a good run team in week 1. So I feel like we can take something away from it. Maybe. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll take a W from it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You're listening to Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. A potential bad omen for the Seahawks on Sunday. Maybe. We'll see. Plus, one of the greatest football names of all time. It's coming your way next in the timeline.
Hawks Live.
Tonight from 7 to 9.
Live from Bellevue Square Center Court. Join former Seahawks Michael Bumpus and Paul Moyer as they go deep on the Hawks with player interviews and opponents' analysis.
And we look like offensively the team that we thought we were.
How do we win a football game? That's what makes you a great quarterback.
Every Thursday night throughout the Hawks season.
Geno Smith has himself a day.
Presented by the Dining District of the Bellevue Collection.
On Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, this is Stacey Rost, and if you're looking for top-notch service for your plumbing, heating, and air needs, look no further than Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air. For over 25 years, Ben's has been providing 5-star service to our community. Their team of experienced professionals are dedicated to making sure you get the best service possible. That means no pressure, no gimmicks, just honest, reliable work. From routine maintenance to emergency repairs, Ben's has got you covered. And with their no-pressure sales approach, you can rest easy, knowing you're only getting the services you actually need without unnecessary upsells. So, whether it's a leaky faucet or a broken heater, trust the experts with over a quarter-century of excellence. Call Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air today at 206-789-5353. That's 206-789-5353 or benz.plumbing. Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air, where 5-star service meets no-pressure sales.
Sure, you can fill up at any gas station, but at any gas station, could you score 2 tickets to a Seahawks game? Sure can't. So head to a 76 or Conoco station and turn your next pit stop into a touchdown. When you buy 8 or more gallons with the Fuel Forward app, you can enter to win 2 Seahawks tickets. Next stop, Lumen Field. See official rules for details. Valid July 29th to December 15th, 2024. Copyright 2024 Phillips 66 Company. All rights reserved.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about football. Have fun, but be responsible on game day. Even if it's on your best friend's 100-inch 4K UDR and surround sound 5.1. If you feel sacked in the fourth quarter, a designated driver needs to take you to your end zone. If you get carried away with too many Bloody Marys after a few too many Hail Marys, call for a timeout. You get the point. Be safe on game day.
1-800-DUI-AWAY.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about Google. It's so important, it's a verb. Google it. Then check out our hundreds of 5-star Google reviews. They ended my case with such favorable results that even the judge was surprised. Give yourself the absolute best chance of staying out of jail and give Bradley Johnson a call. I contacted other firms with no call back. I then called Bradley Johnson and scheduled a meeting immediately. Google us.
1-800-DUI-AWAY.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence 9 test under high-load conditions versus API SP test limits.
Hello?
Hey, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. Did you know we've got you fully covered?
I've taken up beekeeping. I'm always covered.
I'm talking the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage at up to half the cost.
Same honey, half the work?
Exactly.
Sweet.
Just call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on SeattleSports.com.
Seahawks Insider, brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. Now here's Maura Dooley.
The Seahawks opponent this week, the New England Patriots, had a top 5 rushing performance to start the season against Cincinnati. Ramondre Stevenson rushed for 125 yards on 25 carries. Yesterday, Mike McDonald talked to the media about the challenges of facing that offense.
It's about space and angles, so you have to understand, the angle that you need to take, especially with the runners that New England has. And it's about getting multiple hats to the party because, they're big physical backs that fall forward. And there's a huge difference between making contact a yard or two past the line of scrimmage and falling forward for 4 versus making contact there. And now there's multiple guys at the party. And New England does a good job of kind of getting a hat for the hat. So there's a lot of one-on-one matchups that are going to be happening that we're going to have to win in order to have success.
The Seahawks Insider is brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. For the latest on the Seahawks anytime, go to SeattleSports.com.
If you're looking for fun, breathtaking views and outdoor dining, Snoqualmie Casino's the place for you. It's Mike Salk here for Snoqualmie Casino. No matter if it's a meeting like I've done, a night out with friends, a big date night with my wife, I know Snoqualmie Casino has it all. Plus, they open their outdoor dining, so come enjoy dinner overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley. 12 Moons and Vista Prime Steaks and Seafood offer outdoor dining, so grab a seat and dig in. You can browse the menus at snocasino.com. It is Seattle's closest Snoqualmie Casino. Please game responsibly.
Hey, babe. Yeah, the bank password is moneybags, but a $sign instead of the S.
Mr. Moneybags here is about to get his identity stolen.
Wait, what?
If he used 1Password, he can share logins, credit cards, and other important information with just his wife, not the whole store. Sir, your card's been declined.
Again?
Security is complicated. 1Password isn't. And right now, get a free 2-week trial at 1Password.com. That's 2 free weeks at 1Password.com.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
This hour is brought to you by Floor Coverings International.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
Bump. While we get to other stuff after these timeline stories, I have a fantasy football question for you from a listener.
All right.
Just tell me what you would do in this case before we get to it, though. A bad omen for the Seahawks on Sunday? Maybe. I'll tell you what's happening. The Patriots have named as this week's Keeper of the Light Super Bowl 49 villain Malcolm Butler. It's basically the Patriots' version of the 12 flag raiser.
Hey, that's gangster low-key, though.
A little bit,
that's
right?
That's gangster.
That someone in that PR staff / game day staff is the pettiest person I've ever known, and I have no choice but to respect it.
Nothing but respect.
You know?
I understand
game
that.
recognized game.
And you know what they're going to do? They're going to show the highlight as he's raising the flag or whatever they do over there in Gillette and remind folks. But then these Seahawks are going to be, that ain't us, dog. Granted, hey, big ups to that organization and that team and what that Seahawks team did, but this ain't them.
Yeah.
But I respect the move, though.
Like, I can't even hate on anything to do with the Patriots because they were the last true dynasty. Obviously, Kansas City's kind of in the midst of that.
Nah,
but
they're a dynasty.
They're a dynasty. But the Patriots for 20 years were a dynasty. So I can't even be like, none of those players are even here.
Like Ottoman. Was it the Ottoman Empire? Was it Ottoman? That's what they were.
That's the Patriots.
Yeah.
Essentially, they just took over.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is no equal kind of petty shot that we can take as Seahawks fans. All you can do is just say respect.
Respect.
I still think the Seahawks win this one. I'm feeling pretty positive.
I think so.
Let me slip in this fantasy football question because it's related to this game from the 253. Should I play Charbonnet over Ramondre Stevenson, a running back for the Patriots, if Walker doesn't play?
That's a tough one because we know he's going to get his touches. He got, 25, 30 carries last game. But I really believe that this defensive line is going to shut all of that down. So if I were you, the kid that went to Michigan, then transferred to UCLA, Zach Charbonnet, start him.
Someone said, I need to renounce my hate for Boston teams and move it to New York. I will tell you in order. Honestly, my sports hate right now is number 1, Astros.
Yeah, for sure.
Number 2, Yankees over Red Sox, for sure.
Yeah, yep, gotta do it.
Yeah, like with the Patriots, it's more of like eye roll, but they're done.
Yeah,
it's dead.
a wrap.
They're underground. I don't want their season. I don't want that life. I don't want your life.
And about I don't want your life. So there you go. You know a football movie.
Yeah. Next up, for the second time in his last 4 starts, Blue Jays rookie pitcher Bowden Francis lost. I hate this. Lost a no-hitter in the 9th inning. Cut 14. Take a listen.
Fastball hit to deep right, and it is gone. Exactly the same outcome as was the case in the Angels game when Taylor Ward homered to lead off the 9th. For the second time in 4 starts, Francis takes a no-hit bid into the 9th inning and has it broken up by a home run.
That's an emotional train wreck of a week.
That's
like,
cruel.
Ultimate high, ultimate low.
That's cruel.
Truly.
Baseball gods, what do we have to do, man?
What's wrong with you?
What did he do to deserve this? That's unfortunate. And I hate it. I just mentioned it earlier with Woo, right? I hate when things are broken up with a bomb. Like, this. What would you rather have your perfection, your no-hitter broken up with? A bomb or like just a drive into a gap somewhere?
A bomb.
A bomb?
Something that felt like it couldn't have been stopped.
Yeah.
No one's catching that. It's gone. It's out of here. I don't want something where a position player is going to be like, I'm so sorry. Like, if I was in a different spot. Or
I mean,
maybe
if it drives a gap, I mean.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you wouldn't have really gotten it, but there is something about it being a home run where you go, all right, well, what are you going to do? And usually it means I'm, like, really attacking the zone, and he just happened to land on one. But, like, you know, I got a lot of velocity. I'm having a great day. It also reminds me of that perpetual question. So you have something really great, a no-hitter going into the 9th. And ultimately, the heartbreak is so much greater because of that, because you were so close. You know that age-old question of, would you rather make the playoffs or make a World Series or make a football and then lose every time, or make a Super Bowl and then lose every time, or not make it at all?
I'd rather win a championship or get into the championship game. Right, that's what you're asking. Get there and not win it, or just never get there at all?
Yeah.
I'd rather get there and not win it.
So it's kind of like, I remember Lefko bringing this up as a debate. It was before the Mariners had broken the drought. And I was saying, no franchise in sports knows this pain of not making the playoffs for 20 years. And Lefko said, well, what about the Twins, who, like, for something like 18 consecutive seasons, or not consecutive seasons, but for something like, you know, the better part of that same time frame, had made it and lost each time in the first round. And I said, it's still not the same.
No.
To make it, period, buys you a few days, a game, a couple innings of something really fun.
Yeah, and you get the excitement of what could be. And I know it hurts at the end if you don't get her done. Ask 49ers fans over the past 5 or 6 years.
You know?
But every year they're playing longer than everybody, and there are moments during that Super Bowl where you think they're going to pull it off.
Guarantee you, not a doubt in my mind, 49ers fans, even with the heartbreak of losing the Super Bowl a couple times in 5 years, would take their last 5 seasons over the last 5 for the Carolina Panthers, and it's not close.
Sure.
Over the last 5 for the Denver Broncos, and it's not close. Not a single 49ers fan would go, well, I'd rather have not made it at all. Loser mentality.
Loser mentality.
Next up, one of your favorites, Paul Feinbaum, thinks Deion Sanders might not be back with the Buffs next season, and he's doing Shedeur more harm than good in a way we might not have thought about. Cut number 6.
No, I don't believe he will. And, you know, I love his press conference yesterday where he came out and made it clear this isn't about him, and then spent the entire press conference talking about him, Deion Sanders. He can't help it, but the real problem now is that he's doing not only serious damage to his reputation as even an average coach, which he's proven to be nothing else other than, but you know, he may very well screw up his son's NFL future. I don't think his son ought to play anymore. I mean, his son is literally running for his life. That offensive line is woeful, just like it was a year ago, except the team doesn't look as good as they were last year.
Now, I don't know how many people, not many people have starting quarterbacks in the collegiate ranks where their father is a head coach.
Right.
But if they were, I don't know how many people would more sincerely say, for this D1 program, the son shouldn't be a starter. Shedeur's getting attention. In a bad quarterback class, he's probably going to be the #1 pick. It's not hurting his career. That being said, what did you make of his criticisms in general?
I think Deion is a unicorn in this situation. We've never seen anything like this. A Hall of Famer, who is a D1 coach now, who is coaching his son at the most important position. His son has grown up in the spotlight his whole life. We've never seen anything like this before. So there's nothing to compare it to. There's no situation where you can look at it and say, well, it worked out for him here or it didn't work out for him there. So I think it's tough to criticism, but I think some of it is warranted. Deion's done a great job kind of building the hype behind Colorado. You've recruited everywhere but the offensive line. Like, why hasn't he been able to get transfers and recruits at the offensive line? I think Shedeur Sanders, his talent is going to take him to the NFL regardless. The only question that you can have about Shedeur Sanders at this point of his career is his leadership, just based off of what we saw last week when he kind of threw his guys under the bus. The reason why Shedeur didn't leave last year was because he saw the quarterbacks that were going to be in the draft and said, you know what, next year I should be good to go. If Drake May can have the year that he had in North Carolina and still go high in the draft, I don't see why Shedeur Sanders can't do the same thing with Colorado. They're not going to win a lot of games. His numbers are probably going to be slightly down this year. He's already thrown 2 interceptions through 3 last year. But he's got 3 years, one at the D1 level, showing that he is more than capable. If you watch Shedeur play, he is a good quarterback and can play in the NFL. So it's just, can you separate the drama that surrounds Shedeur with his dad and this unique situation that we've never seen before?
Can I get back to that? A very good point. For like 30 seconds, can I hit you with a text about the would you rather make it and lose or not make it thing?
Okay.
Someone said, what about the Bills? 4 Super Bowl losses in a row.
They still were there.
Exactly.
They still were there. They still had an opportunity. Just give me a chance.
Yes.
Give me a chance. We might fail. Who knows? But having a chance to do it.
Well,
I'll take it.
And think about the moments on the way. Curtis, what is the most famous call, would you say, in Mariners history?
It's the double.
And did the Mariners get to the World Series that year?
They did not.
They did not. What is one of the most famous calls in Seahawks history, certainly of the last, let's say, 15 years?
The tip?
Outside of that, I was thinking of Beast Mode, like the Beastquake run, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Did they get to a Super Bowl that year?
They
did not.
No.
Those were moments that you guys have in your sports memories. If I were to play a highlight of the double right now or a Beastquake right now, you'd be listening in your car like, hell yeah. I loved this moment. Getting there and losing still means you get those moments forever.
Yeah.
So
there's still events that
Always
happened
fight.
before that made that season great. It just ended in tragedy.
Absolutely agree. Hawks Live is back, and you can join Michael Bumpus and Paul Moyer tonight starting at 7 p.m. at Bellevue Square Center Court for a live broadcast and preview of this week's game, plus a visit from Seahawks tight end A.J. Barner and the chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Seahawks take on the Dolphins on September 22nd. That is week 3 back here at Lumen Field. That's tonight, 7 p.m., Bellevue Square Center Court. It's free. Show up, get some snacks, do some shopping, and then watch these two host Hawks Live. Learn more at seattlesports.com/events. Action Network College Football insider Brett McMurphy joins us next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
8:30 on Wednesdays, Daniel Jeremiah.
I don't know where you stop the list of impressive players for the Seahawks on defense. I mean, Leonard Williams was awesome. Obviously, the coverage in the back end. They have 2 picks. They dropped 2 more. I mean, they could easily have 4 interceptions in that game. You look at what they do at the line of scrimmage all the way across the board. They did a nice job of generating pressure. I came out looking at the whole tape, and I was like, okay, this defense is really, really fun.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Are you putting off your new kitchen plans? Why wait? Hi, Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Call today and ask about our trade-in sale. Years of experience, thousands of happy customers. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600 or heritagehomecraft.com.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with no credit financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. It's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment needed and financing's available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
For over 111 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington. From the Space Needle in Seattle and now all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist you with any lighting issue, as well as help with intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting expert since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Summer is here, and now's the time to break through those weight loss frustrations. Hey, it's Dr. Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, and we have a proven system that can help you lose weight and get healthy. No drugs, no side effects, no calorie counting, no exercise. Just teaching you the simple steps to become a fat-burning machine and keep it off long-term. Remove the stress of trying to do this on your own and picture being down 20 to 30 pounds in just 60 days with our help. At Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, we know the secret for fast and lasting weight loss using real healthy foods and lifestyle changes. Schedule your free consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
There's a lot of different weight loss plans out there, but one thing that sets this one apart is that you are eating real food that you buy at the grocery store. There's nothing fake about it. It is 100% genuine. The food tastes good. And again, it's real.
Our program has successfully helped thousands of people lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in 60 days. You can start our program in person in Kirkland or virtually from anywhere you live. Schedule your free phone consultation today by calling 425-588-0080 or eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
At Shane Company, our engagement rings are the perfect blend of design, function, and beauty, each one a unique work of art. We meticulously craft our bridal jewelry in our jeweler's workshop to the highest standards, expertly setting each diamond by hand, ensuring the structure is perfectly balanced, and sizing everything for the perfect fit. Shane Company offers a free unmatched lifetime warranty because your engagement ring is an heirloom that was made to last. You'll cherish your ring today, tomorrow, and forever. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey guys, Matt Coker here with West Coast Men's Health. Most guys don't realize that their ED started in their 40s. Symptoms of erectile dysfunction can be slight and subtle, but by treating your symptoms at the onset, you can avoid severe ED in the future. Mild ED is easily reversed at our clinic using our acoustic wave technology. Most men have accepted that ED is a part of getting older, but that's far from the truth. Our acoustic wave therapy has helped thousands of men restore function, whether they're in their 40s or their 80s. West Coast Men's Health also treats chronic pain, including neuropathy, plantar fasciitis, Dupuytren's contracture, and even carpal tunnel. So if this sounds like you, give West Coast Men's Health a call today and see how we can help.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Hey, college students, want to save more on groceries? Every dollar counts, so my friends at Safeway are helping by giving all university, community, and technical college students an extra 5% savings every day. It's called Safeway for You. Sign up is free and easy. Safeway for You members get extra savings with perks, points, and free products. For all the details and terms, visit Safeway.com/FOR and the letter U. That's Safeway.com/for-you.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Prostate cancer is the second most common cancer in males. When detected early, it can be curable. Swedish CyberKnife offers a non-invasive and highly precise treatment for prostate cancer, typically requiring only 5 treatments. CyberKnife patients experience minimal side effects and can continue normal activities during treatment. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
He had a tweet this morning that made me laugh out loud. Brett McMurphy said, in typical hashtag Pac-12 after dark fashion, while most of America was sound asleep, some crazy, pardon my French, stuff was going out out west late last night. So let's talk about the Pac-12's newest additions here. Action Network college football insider Brett McMurphy joins us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Brett, what the heck? What do we need to know about what the Pac-2, I guess, did last night?
They had quadruplets.
Surprise.
Congrats to the new parents. They tripled in size. They went from 2 to 6. We knew something was going to happen with the schools in the Pac-12 and the Mountain West. We just weren't sure what was going to happen. And basically the Pac-12 decided the best route going forward was to rebuild their conference. This is for the 2026 season. They have to get to 8 members to remain an FBS conference. They got a grace period when they lost, 10 of the 12 schools to the various leagues. So they have a grace period, with the 2-pack right now. So now I guess they go from the 2-pack to a 6-pack, but they have to get to 8. I'm sure one of your next questions is, great, who's going to be the next 2? I don't know. And here's the reality of it. If they knew who the next 2 would be, they would have brought them on right now. So obviously there's, I don't want to necessarily say disagreement, but maybe they haven't come to a complete resolution on exactly who those 2 are going to be. Are they going to be more teams from the Mountain West? Potentially a UNLV or an Air Force? Could it potentially be somebody from the American Conference, like a Memphis, maybe a Tulane? Do they want to take a shot on an FCS juggernaut, like a North Dakota State or a South Dakota State? That's what they've got to figure out. So if they knew exactly who they wanted, then they would have brought them on. So the fact that they didn't tells me they've got to figure that out. All of the new members, plus Oregon State and Washington State, obviously will make that decision together as a conference. But that's basically it. They are not, for semantics, they are not a power conference anymore. And basically all that means is the college football playoff revenue is divided up. And if you're in a power conference, you get a giant piece of that revenue pie. And if you're not in a power conference, you get a smaller slab to divide among your members. So they will get a smaller slab. But again, the winner of that conference, if they rank among the top 5 highest conference champs, they will get an automatic bid to the college football playoff.
Hey, Brett, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna use your Tupac six pack with my homies and give you absolutely no credit. That's I'm gonna treat it as an original thought.
Well, you know what? It happens all the time. It's the first time it's happened from somebody not affiliated with ESPN. So I appreciate you at least being honest about it.
Hey, how do you think the Mountain West is feeling about this? I think they knew bringing in Oregon State and Washington State to some capacity would present the risk of them taking some of their universities. You think, obviously, they saw this coming. What do you think their feelings are behind this move?
I don't think, Michael, I don't think it's unexpected. I mean, and look, to give the Mountain West credit, they did a scheduling agreement with these guys. And part of the scheduling agreement was if you took any of our teams, you have to pay us $10 million per team. So basically, the Pac-12 is going to have to pay the Mountain West about $43 million to add those 4 schools. So they were able to get a lot of money out of the Pac-12. I don't think it's a surprise. And the thing is, and I kind of, people get so personal and so, it's like you're talking about a relative if you talk negative about a certain school. And I take all the names out of it. And I just say, look at college football like a big totem pole. And you've got the Big Ten and the SEC on top, and you've got Conference USA at the bottom. And then you can slot your other conferences, Big 12, ACC, Mountain West, Pac-12, et cetera, down the totem pole. If there's a conference above you that offers you the chance to move up to that conference, you're going to move. And there's nothing the commissioner can do. There's nothing the other schools can do because you're going to make more money in that other conference. So it's unfortunate for the Mountain West. Right now they're left with 8 schools. If Pac-12 goes and gets 2 more schools from the Mountain West, then the Mountain West is going to have to turn around and grab from a conference below them to get back up to 8. But certainly this was expected. There was nothing anyone could do. And I don't think it's fair, when people lash out at commissioners saying, I can't believe they let this happen. It's all based on money. Yeah. And I could have been commissioner of the Mountain West. You guys could have been. Greg Sankey could have been. It doesn't matter who is commissioner. If you're a school and you can make X amount of money, which is more than you previously made, these schools are going to make these moves. Hopefully, the Mountain West will stick around. I'm sure they will. But it's, to end my long ramble, I hate conference realignment because what it has done to college football and college athletics. But it's a necessary evil, and it's going to continue until the end of time, unfortunately.
Do you think it continues? I ask because I was struck by your kicker of your column, which was stability in college athletics. That would be something. And I was just thinking about it after reading it. And do you think it's something that'll continue to the theory a lot of folks have where it'll just eventually be 2, like it's East and West, or maybe it's just 2 conferences? Or do you think that there is some fight left with some of these other conferences like the Pac-2?
Yeah, Stacey. I mean, there's fight left. The problem is the Pac-2, the Pac-12, the six-pack, whatever we want to call them, if they're going up against the Big Ten or the SEC, and look, I want to be clear, I'm not talking about games on Saturday. Any team can beat any team. I don't care what conference you're from. What I'm talking about is the other 364 days a year when the Big Ten and the SEC are making $80, $90 million in media rights revenue per year, and the non-power conference schools from the Pac-12, the Mountain West, et cetera, they're making somewhere between $6 to $10 million. So, yeah, the other 364 days you can't compete. So you talk about a fight, the kind of fight that they're in, and I've mentioned this to some of the smaller conferences. Yeah. You guys are in a gunfight. The other conference has a loaded shotgun, and you've got a spork. So we know how that's gonna work out. And I hate that. And the only way that changes, well, it won't change, but if the Big Ten and SEC like split away and do their own deal, kind of like an NFL model, NFC, AFC type deal, and they kind of go off and they take their football and they do their own playoff, and then everybody that's left behind would kind of be on equal footing, because everybody's, it's obvious, is not on equal footing now.
Right,
but
right.
until that happens, yeah, we're gonna keep seeing this.
He's Action Network College Football Insider Brett McMurphy, kind enough to join us following this news that broke last night. Thank you so much, Brett. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, Brett.
You got it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, you guys, 2-hour preview for Week 2 for the Seahawks begins next.
In Week 2, the Seahawks head to New England to face the new-look Patriots.
Check in the dictionary under answer, and that's what the Seahawks offense just did.
Can Coach McDonald's defense continue their dominance in Foxborough?
Goes back in the middle, intercepted, and it's Rick Woolen, who steps right in front of the receiver, Cortland Sutton.
Seahawks, Patriots, kickoff at 10 a.m. Pre-game coverage starting at 7.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
On your home for the Hawks, Seattle Sports.
I have a handful of stories that really affected me personally in my career and how I handled employees. Lee Johnson, coming out of his office as a customer, asked me where the service department is. I was like, yeah, go to the end of the hall, go up the stairs, go across the breezeway, open a door, go to the left. You want Chevy, go to the right. You want Mazda? Because I didn't even have enough time to say, hey, what kind of car do you have? Here comes Lee, and it's like, oh, ma'am, come with me. Let me show you. And then having him come back and not dress me down is just almost like with that fatherly disappointment of like, hey, that's not how we take care of people. I mean, the right way is to walk her down to the stairs, walk her up the stairs, open the door for her, go over, across the way, open up that door, introduce her to somebody. So she's comfortable, she's made it to the right place, and that we value the business. What you did was you made it seem like she was an inconvenience to you. Customers are the purpose of our day.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
At State Roofing, you can trust us to get your project done right because we prioritize quality and excellence in everything we do. Take advantage of 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest today, and don't pay until 2025. Call State Roofing at 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
Are you putting off your new kitchen plans? Why wait? Hi, Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Call today and ask about our trade-in sale. Years of experience, thousands of happy customers. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600 or heritagehomecraft.com.
My wife and I always loved doing everything together. Jiu-jitsu, kayaking, and intimacy was always on point. It was around my early 30s when I noticed a downward trend. Watching a lot of TV, putting on weight, and just full of self-doubt. I had tried another men's clinic with disappointing results. It's the personalized treatment I receive at Revive Men's Health that has been the complete game changer for me. I've got my energy and motivation back. I'm feeling stronger than I did in my 20s, and it made me a much better husband to my wife.
This is Dr. Andrew Allshouse of Revive Men's Health. If you're always feeling tired or moody, or your sleep is poor, you have low libido, you may be suffering from low testosterone.
Book your free T-check and exam. Call Revive Men's Health Seattle at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
What does the Seahawks jersey mean? It's football.
Drops back, has time, loads up, throws. It's intercepted. Does he keep his feet in? He does! Seahawks ball!
It's community.
The stands are rocking right now. Nobody has left this place. It is pandemonium.
It's Seattle. This is your jersey. This is the Pro Shop. The Seahawks Pro Shop has the largest selection of Seahawks jerseys. Come try one on at the Landing in Renton or at Lumen Field.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible, it's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Are you constantly dealing with a runny nose, nasal congestion, or stuffiness? Always having to clear your throat or coughing? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Rhine-Air is a simple, non-invasive procedure that can significantly reduce your symptoms. This long-lasting treatment is available here in my office. In a clinical study, 88% of Rhine-Air patients experience a significant reduction in their symptoms. We're proud the Stern Sinus Center was recently named a nationwide center of excellence. Schedule your appointment in Auburn or Federal Way or go to sternsinus.com.
Well, it's buck season at Pacific Power Batteries with our $10 battery bucks for your next trip when you come and buy $100 worth of merchandise. Yes, these are for our dear customers who could use the dough. Pacific Power Batteries has lots of batteries for all of your outdoor gear this fall season. At our stores, some folks might get that deer in the headlights look at the variety of batteries for just about anything. Family owned since 1985, Pacific Power Batteries with batteries for everything.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. This is The Huddle. Every Thursday from noon to 2.
Presented by
Hunt Services and Pacific Lamp and Supply. The Huddle.
You are listening to the world-famous Huddle with Dave Wyman, Michael Bumpus, and Stacey Ross, getting you guys ready for a Week 2 matchup between the Seahawks and Patriots. This one on the road at 10 a.m. kickoff not local time, Seattle time. First, we're going to recap quickly the win over the Broncos in Week 1, and then we're going to be joined by center Connor Williams in segment. So I'll interrupt us when Connor comes in. But Wyman, I'll start with you. It feels like what stood out from this day easily was the defensive performance. Yeah. What'd you make of what Mike McDonald was able to construct?
Yeah, it was, well, first of all, tackling was really good. I mean, I think we saw maybe one open field missed tackle, and then somebody was right there. And they kind of carried the team there for a while the offense struggled. So, yeah, I just thought, especially the way the linebackers attacked the line of scrimmage and the way that they took shots, they weren't worried about missing tackles. I felt like that's we've been talking this week about the mentality, the tackling mentality, and it's kind of like special teams where if you're the first guy there, you can take a shot. And then if it doesn't work, then there's somebody, and you know where your help is too. So, yeah, I thought that looked really good. And, you know, it's funny, like Leonard Williams didn't really have like a big statistical day or anything, but the way he controlled the line of scrimmage was pretty awesome. So, yeah, I just thought that defensively it was just markedly different from what we've seen over I think Salk said that like that was the best defense we've seen in 5 years, maybe.
Yeah. I loved the passion that defense was playing with. I mean, the very first play, I think J Love makes a play. He's hyped. We saw Jenkins get down the hill. He's hyped. I saw Witherspoon just take a route away. He wasn't even throwing his way. He just took it away, and the excitement was crazy, man. I think there's like a validation, I think, that happened with those guys. Like, they knew they were going to be a good defense, but to go out there and actually do it, it has to be a great feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, the way they're playing, man, it's so fast. And I think, you know, and we'll talk about the offense. I felt like that was one of the problems. Like, there was too much going on, so they weren't able to play fast. Like Laken Tomlinson, how do you get beat when their guys lined up in an outside gap and he beats you to the inside gap? I think they were thinking too much. I think there was too too much going on there. And that's kind of what we saw in our defense last year. You could see guys thinking, and it kind of had a ripple effect and made it, on the back end, so guys weren't sure where they were going. And the defense just right from the get-go. Offense finally repaired and got going, but as far as the defense goes, it was just, you can tell they're guys that have turned their brains on because they are off, I should say, because you don't want to entirely turn your brain off, but you want to know, that you are confident in where you're supposed to go on every play.
Connor's walking over now, so Bump, I may have to interrupt you
Don't
here,
do
but
it.
they had a slow start on offense. The Seahawks did a pretty bad first half. What adjustments did you see in the second half? Because obviously they were able to pull away.
Well, Schler said there were no adjustments made.
Yeah, Schler
and I
told
say,
me.
Schler, you're right. They didn't say, look, guys, we're gonna throw out the game plan and start elsewhere.
Yeah.
And it all started with the man who's with us right now. So, let's get it.
That's exactly right. Obviously, Connor Williams, Seahawks center, joining us right now, coming off your very first game with the Seattle Seahawks. And Connor, this one was in front of fans at Lumen Field. How'd it feel out there?
It was definitely special. Oh, hey guys.
There we go.
It was definitely special. I mean, I've played there multiple times, and being on the opposing side, you definitely feel what it means to come to Seattle and play. And so, just being able to see it as a home crowd and have them backing you, it's definitely a different experience.
They were kind of cooperative as far as keeping it quiet for you, and then on defense, how loud was it down there when those guys were on the field?
When they were on the field?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it definitely rocks. I mean, I've been in that situation. You can't hear the man next to you, so it's definitely an advantage, and it goes a long ways.
What was the offseason like for you? When did Seattle kind of come into the mix? And then what was it like for you just going out there, without really playing much and just getting thrown to the fire?
It was definitely towards the end of the offseason. And so it was developing probably a couple weeks before I even signed. And so it all definitely came quick. I was actually driving home yesterday, and I realized that it had been a month since I arrived and how much happened in a month. And, I'm just getting adjusted to the building, adjusted to the guys, finding my niche in the team and my place in the team. And but definitely an amazing experience and first game under my belt, and just being able to know what to work on. It puts all out there. It's on a window now. It's transparent. So just being able to see what to work on and how to grow as a team together.
Connor, it's probably also about getting adjusted to playing again. Both of my co-hosts have been former players, and both have had to bounce back from injury. You obviously getting back out there, playing a full game, you have that under your belt. Was there a point in the game where you thought, okay, I feel pretty good? How'd you bounce back after?
Yeah, it definitely took a series or two. I mean, it had been a long time since I'd been out there. And I mean, definitely last year was a short season for me, so it was definitely a lot, but it came quickly. I mean, it's like riding a bike, so it's nice.
I bet.
Yeah.
Thanks for not looking over at me and going, you played in the NFL.
Hey, 10 years, Dave, 10 years.
Hey, tell us about the little meeting on the sidelines after, I think it was maybe in the first quarter, where Geno brought everybody together. And he looked very calm, and he just seems like such a great leader. Tell me what your impressions of him were.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've seen him play around the league, but never been on his team.
Yeah.
And so definitely to have that experience, and I mean, it was clear. It was clear what was going on. And so for him to be able to come together and do what he did, I think just being able to realign the offense and realign all of us together on the same mission, same plan, and just kind of tighten it up, and definitely earn my respect as a leader from then on out,
I think a lot of people overblow halftime adjustments. There are things that you guys talk about, right? When you got into the locker room and you're talking to Grubb or your position coach, are you guys telling these guys, look, we can run on these guys, we can move these guys? Because clearly in the second half, you came out and started to run the football a bit more, at least to start the series.
Yeah, and definitely our first game together, just learning where that lies and everything. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing was our approach of, just being able to set the tone together, especially as an offensive line, being able to set the tone and dictate the game on our terms.
Kind of a silly question, but I was thinking of it as I was thinking of the three of you. It was my last question. I said, both my co-hosts played. You guys all played different positions. Connor, do you think like you have the attitude, the mindset of like, I am an offensive lineman, or are you convinced that like, no, I could be a defensive back? Like, do you have an attitude that would translate to playing another position in football? And I'm talking if you could change anything physically, like you could make yourself play that position, what would it have been?
Oh, I mean, that would have had to take place in high school. At this point,
yeah.
I'm down a long road that's turned into
well, it's too late now.
A deep O-line.
We're not making you wide receiver 1 now, Connor.
Yeah. I don't know. I was a tight end in high school, and I think that was I had a few offers as tight end, so that was probably my dream position. But it slowly started sucking me in closer and closer to the ball. So.
Did you play other sports when you were a young guy growing up, or did you know you were going to be a football player?
I played basketball and track, but I mean, growing up in DFW and in Texas, you kind of pushed one way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a huge deal down there, right?
Oh, Texas football? I'm from Cali, and I respect it. You know, football's different down in Texas. We always try to claim Cali and Florida, but we know, I mean, the culture of football is just great down there. So you probably went to college already played in front of 10,000 people.
Oh, yeah, you're playing D1 guys every week, and there's D1 guys all over your team, and you go to college, and I mean, I started as a freshman, and I always say like there was no drop off from DFW football to college football. Right. Like it was a smooth transition. That's how.
Wasn't like that in Reno, Nevada.
No, at Worcester High School.
People at the game, maybe.
Does that mean you grew up watching the Cowboys?
Uncles did. I didn't grow up watching too much football.
You didn't? Wait, so you played football. Were you like a fan of some college teams? Did you just kind of play it because you loved it but not follow too many teams?
Played it because I loved it. I mean, I was a fan of Texas football, obviously. But, you know, travel my brother's college games and everything. You get to a point where you're kind of want your alone time, you know?
Yeah, you're done with sports at that point. All right, he is Seahawks center Connor Williams. Good luck in week 2. We're going to spend the rest of the day previewing it, but you are going to spend the rest of the day getting ready for it, actually playing. So thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We are going to continue a 2-hour preview of week 2 Seahawks heading to Gillette to take on the Patriots. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Mike Morris.
The Mike McDonald Show, the first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
How do you feel like you can manage that as D coordinator and head coach?
I have to stay present, like especially when we're on defense. I got to put the defensive coordinator hat on, and then when we get to certain situations, you're kind of wearing both. Our defensive staff does a great job of making adjustments and talking to the guys and getting things fixed, and then I can kind of hop back and forth. But then, you're back to managing the game. If you're juggling, I think we can pull it off.
Don't miss the Mike McDonald Show the morning after the Hawks game at 9:30 on Seattle Sports.
Choose the right flooring for your home, right in your home, with Floor Coverings International. They bring the mobile showroom to you, loaded with samples of carpet, LVP, hardwood, laminate, tile, and more. So you can see the flooring in your light, not just in a store or on a screen. They handle every aspect of installation, ensuring your complete satisfaction. Visit FCIFloors.com and book a free in-home consultation. Floor Coverings International, the stars of flooring.
Hey everybody, Bob Stelton here for Johnson Fitness and Wellness, where I got my home gym. Now the difference? Their expert staff. They ask great questions like, what are your fitness goals? What kind of space are you working with at home, and what's your budget? Johnson Fitness and Wellness experts get you the right machine for your home gym dream setup. And right now, in-store only while supplies last, mention this ad and our listeners get an indoor cycle for free with Select Force USA Home Gyms. Shop stores in Bellevue, Tacoma, Linwood, or visit johnsonfitness.com.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about the true cost of a DUI. The humiliation, heartache, and fear are only the beginning. A DUI is a gross misdemeanor with serious consequences like jail time, fines, and license suspensions. There's some bitter surprises too. DUI hinders employment, other legal matters, and even custody outcomes. Don't even get me started on insurance premiums or being turned away at the border. You need the true value of our top-rated lawyers. We're fighting for you. So call 1-800-DUI-AWAY or go to 1-800-DUI-AWAY.com. The real cost of a DUI conviction is like a cell phone bill. There's a lot tacked on. Fortunately, your investment in 1-800-DUI-AWAY can pay for itself many times over.
1-800-DUI-AWAY!
Ooh, ma.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs. You sound very calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin D3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Welcome to Staples.
My son's teacher emailed his back-to-school list. He needs crayons and notebooks.
With Staples Hot Deals, you'll find low prices on tons of school supplies. And all in stock.
Oh, now they're saying he needs folders and glue.
You got it.
And markers?
Of course.
Oh, geez.
Might I suggest 2 carts?
Staples has everything for school in stock and priced low. Right now, 24-pack Crayola crayons and 2-pocket poly folders are only 50 cents each at Staples. Ends 9/14, in-store only, limit 10 while supplies last.
Hey, Brock Ewart here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. The weather is warming. The sports are moving outdoors, Shannon. Maybe time to take care of that lawn and pull the old lawnmower out. Is it a time where you get a little busier as the weather warms?
Oh, absolutely, Brock. You know, what we know, particularly in the Puget Sound, we have these cold, wet winters. The weather changes, the sun comes out, and everybody wants to rush outside and do things. And I'm telling you, that's great, but you got to take time, listen to your body. You got to prepare your body for those activities. You don't want to go too fast, too soon. So warm up, stretch, make sure you have flexibility, a little bit of conditioning, because if you're conditioned and ready and prepared, those activities outside are going to be so much funner, if that makes sense. You're an athlete yourself, Brock. You know how important warming up is.
No, I like funner. I think they would tell you more fun, but I kind of like funner, and that's exactly what IRG is. For more info or to book your appointment today, simply go to irgpt.com. Remember, that's irgpt.com.
The Mike McDonald Show, the first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We want to play a certain way, and you're just going to chisel away at it every day.
Presented by Emerald Queen Casino. This is the Huddle.
Presented by
Hunt Services and Pacific Lamp and Supply. Every Thursday from noon to 2
on Seattle Sports.
You are listening to The Huddle with Dave Wyman, Michael Bumpus, Stacey Roston joining us right now. Mike Morris. Mike, how's it going?
Oh, it's going amazing. It's going amazing. Thank y'all for having me.
We're happy to have you. I need to start not being the one sitting next to the athletes because I'm looking like a tiny person.
Yeah.
Bump actually noticed it when you came in that you've been kind of putting on weight in size this offseason. What's that process been like?
It's been fun. It's always cool to go through body transformations and stuff like that. That's something that I've been really big on ever since I got into college with Abigail O'Connor over there and Coach Herb when I was in college. And them just talking with them and seeing what the coaches want from me and kind of molding my body and shaping my body into being what fits in.
Is there kind of like a happy medium where, you don't want to put too much on? Does it affect your quickness? Or if you do it gradually, does it work a little better?
The main thing is just you want to just feel good when you're on the field. Like last year, I was just like kind of rushed into it, and I really didn't necessarily feel like myself. Yeah. And this year, kind of did it in a healthy way, reduced body fat and gained muscle mass, and now I'm feeling well.
So obviously, Pete Carroll brought you over here, and what was it like when he stepped down, and then you heard Mike McDonald was going to come over here with that Michigan defense?
Man, it was crazy because like I was literally in the building lifting as it happened, and like I just got a wave of just like emotions coming in from all the coaches and stuff like that, and it was definitely like a shock. But then when we prolonged and waited so long until Baltimore finished their season, I was like, yeah, they're going to hire him. Because once they get an interview, I feel like he was going to get the job.
Right.
Did you, had you been telling other players, because obviously you knew Mike McDonald, had you been telling other players about him, being like, I really hope they get this guy?
Bro, I was just like, bro, if we get him, like, we're going to win.
Like, you believed in him.
A lot of football games.
Why'd you feel that way?
Because what he did at Michigan, you know, like, I got the sample size of it. We went from a 2-4 team, like, not even ranked, to Big Ten championship, first time beating Ohio State. And he kind of led us on that path of a national championship.
What's different about Mike McDonald? The thing I've said about him, he's a very concise communicator. Like, not a lot of words, but effective, right?
Yeah.
Like, he just, what kind of stands out? Is that what it is? Just the way he coaches and communicates?
I feel like he's definitely one of those guys in this new era of young coaches being, like, very, very highly intelligent human beings, and he definitely fits that mold. Not even like on the field, but off the field, he's super intelligent. I think he has like a PhD in finance or something like that, or like a master's in finance. So like even off the field, he's smart, and on the field, he's just a super genius and super nerd, man. Even how he talks in our meetings, how he like references movies that no one knows. And it's like, bro, you're a nerd.
Wait, what are one of the movies? Because what if we know
it's
the movies?
always Austin Powers, man. He loves Austin Powers.
Okay, that is a nerdy movie.
Well, he's like
too, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Mike, you're very 24, 3.
No, I'm 23.
23. So yeah, that's
20. Don't
true.
say 24. My sister's 25. She old.
Oh yeah, she's an old head.
Yeah, she old.
Man, you guys came out last week and played well defensively, but I want to go back and ask you something I saw in the preseason, man. I saw you drop into the flat. And I've seen big boys drop into the flat and look lost sometimes, but you dropped there. You found the receiver. I mean, you played it like a DB or a nickel would play it, man. What was the coaching behind that, and what made you so comfortable being in space like that?
And what's crazy is I did not do that drop all camp. They were just like, hey, yo, Mike, you can play edge. And like Mac knows I can play edge. And he was like, go out there. And then like he called the call where I dropped, and it's just like, what do I do? And it was like kind of like, you know, I like the episode on SpongeBob where Patrick gets like a smart brain, and then his gears start rotating again. That's how it felt. It was like I dropped in the wrong direction too. I dropped in the wrong direction and realized, okay, Mike, you have to relay off number 2. And then I turned immediately once I saw him go out, and then I had to get it. But yeah, like I played a lot of like Sam. I played Sam, edge, like all the drops I had to do at Michigan. So
it looked natural.
Yeah,
it was
super. Yeah, like walk out on 2. I did all of that at Michigan, so it was nice to have that happen. I was so tired, I didn't even celebrate. Everybody was like, Mike, why didn't you celebrate? I was like, bro, I was tired. Yeah.
You guys about to hit the road, obviously, for a very long trip to go to Boston, something like a 6-hour flight. Do you ever look forward to visiting certain cities, or are you all business all the time? Like, hey, we're going to play a game. It's not that big of a deal. Or do you ever get excited about, like, hey, we're going to Florida, or we're going to...
No, I feel like it's cool. Like I said, like I feel like I'm more excited to play former teammates because I have Michael Owenu and Josh Uche over there and Jabril. Well, I didn't play with Jabril, but just see him just being at Michigan. Everyone talked about him. I think that's going to be really cool. So I'm more excited about that aspect of it. Not so much in Boston. Like my sister went to Boston College, so like I've been around Boston.
Yeah.
Like,
old news to you.
Old news. Yeah, old news. Yeah, my best friend, he graduated from Holy Cross, so I've been around the Boston area a lot.
So do you, when you go on those trips, do you keep it all business, or are you actually trying to, like, you have an extra day, right? So Saturday, are you going to get out and try to have a little bit of fun, or do you just focus in on the game?
Nah, I think just focus more on the game, just be in my own little space. Because I feel like going out and kind of, like, I haven't been around, like, Boston area. Like, I've been around, like I said, the college campuses. So I don't know what's out there, so I'm not finna end up like, what's his name from the 49ers, man. I think that's scary. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what certain areas you're in. So I think as you navigate those areas, like if I'm in Florida, I'm from Florida. I know where everything is Florida. If I'm in Atlanta, like Atlanta's like a road trip away. So like I know where I'm at in Atlanta. But certain areas you kind of have to just like pick and choose and watch it. And this season has made it just more make you more aware of it. That you're a normal person.
Good way to move.
Exactly. So I think I'm gonna just stay in my room. If we go out, like I think it'll be more so like a restaurant or something.
Yeah. With us, the anticipation to watch this defense was just like Stacy and I and Dave as well. We were just anxious. We wanted to see what it looked like.
Yeah.
And y'all didn't disappoint. And, you know, you can look at the fits, you know, gap integrity, getting to your zones and whatnot. But the thing that stood out to me the most was just the intensity and enthusiasm that y'all were playing with.
Yeah.
What was it like for y'all out there? Because I assume you guys knew you were going to be good, but to go out there and just have it all happen had to be a great feeling.
No, I mean, I think it was an amazing feeling. I think from top to bottom, from beginning to the end of the game, I feel like we just knew who we were and what we could accomplish. And I think it was even more. I think we knew once we were in Tennessee in the joint practices, we knew who the defense we could be. And then this game right here, I think we just kind of were able to show it for 4 quarters and have guys like Leo and Jay Reed and all the other guys play for a full game together. I think that's made it just so much better.
Look fun.
He is Mike Morris. Mike, good luck in week 2. We're all very excited to watch you guys. And you have a very busy day, so we got to let you go. Don't waste time watching Austin Powers. You know, it's a horrible movie.
Austin
Tell
Powers
your
is a
coach
great
that.
movie.
What? No, what do you
Fire.
said you didn't know Austin Powers?
No, I
not a
haven't
good
watched it in a
movie.
long time, but as a movie, it's not a
Mike.
great movie.
And Mike, it's a bad movie.
No, it's a
It's
fire
corny.
movie.
You got to love it, though. You gotta love it.
I don't love the corniness of it.
You're weird then.
You know what? Mike, you can go.
You're weird.
Mike Morris, you guys.
Man.
Mike, thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Mike.
You were very generous with your time. All right, you guys, we're going to take a listen to Geno Smith next.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
By the time this radio ad ends, another vehicle will be stolen somewhere in the United States. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Share this information with friends and family. Prevent the theft and keep yourself and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
At Shane Company, we believe everybody is made to shine. So put on earrings that make you sparkle, diamonds that light up the room, a modern heirloom you'll treasure. We're all made to shine. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Tune in this Sunday as the Seahawks take on New England. Kickoff at 10 a.m. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, proud sponsor of the Seattle Seahawks and the Northwest's biggest and best casino.
Paid for by government. Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1932 $10 gold Indian coins have been found. These gorgeous 1932 gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 500 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling the secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1932 dated gold coin featuring Lady Liberty with an Indian war headdress and a majestic eagle. With limited availability, you must call now. These 1932 dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition with brilliant luster. That is 92 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-495-6468. Call now and you'll receive a free bonus over a $55 value free with every order. Call 1-800-495-6468 now to secure your 1932 $10 gold Indian coins before they sell out. Don't wait. You must act fast. Call now.
Key here is employee satisfaction. There is no expectation for customer satisfaction if the people that work with us don't feel taken care of and supported and loved. I'm proud of this Lily Johnson Auto family. I'm proud of our stores. And I need everybody to share in that mindset because it makes a better experience for the customer. It also makes it a better place to work. Walking away from an interaction with a customer that says, I can't believe how easy this was. I can't thank you enough for helping me. Receiving a handwritten letter that's personalized to a salesperson or service advisor or a technician expressing gratitude, and then taking that home and sharing that with your family and hanging that on your refrigerator, that's the difference.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
If you've been in a wreck or a fender bender,
You have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility, not just where your insurance company tells you to go. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. With over 25 years of auto repair work, they'll exceed your expectations.
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
At Accurate Auto Body, all their work is performed by certified technicians, only using OEM parts to guarantee the safety of you and your family. For the best in auto body collision repair and customer service, give them a call at 425-883-2450 or AccurateAutoBodyWA.com. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
Hawks Live.
Tonight from 7 to 9.
Live from Bellevue Square Center Court.
Geno Smith has himself a day.
Presented by the Dining District of the Bellevue Collection.
On Seattle Sports.
This is the Huddle.
Presented by
Hunt Services and Pacific Lamp and Supply. Every Thursday from noon to 2.
On Seattle Sports.
Let's take a listen to Geno speaking with reporters now.
In the last game, obviously, didn't start the way you guys wanted to on offense. What can you do going forward the way you were able to kind of handle adversity?
Yeah, we want to not have that happen going forward. But anytime you have adversity and you're able to overcome it, it always speaks well for your team, for the guys on the team. But obviously, we'd like to start a lot better, and that's been the emphasis all week is starting fast and obviously sustaining it throughout the entire game.
How do you do that? What do you need to clean up?
Not making mistakes, not having those self-inflicted wounds, penalties, turnovers, those type of things. And then obviously going out there, having fun and executing. That's the main thing, is that we're just out there doing our jobs. I thought we did a better job at that in the second half. And then you could see the consistency in our drives. And so I think if we just do a better job at that, we'll have a shot.
Ken Walker forced eight missed tackles, helped get the offense on track in the second half. What is it about either his style of running or the way he sees the field that leads to those missed tackles?
Man, that guy is Ken Walker, phenomenal. I mean, I can't express in enough words just how good he is with the ball in his hands. One of the best I've ever seen. You've seen him. I've never seen a running back suplex a defensive lineman with the ball in his hands. I mean, just think about just how much fight that kid has. And then, obviously, man, just the things that he does on the field. He's a leader on our offense. We need him to do well, and that's something that we expect from him. And so Ken's been doing a great job since he's gotten here. He's only been getting better each and every year. And so for us, man, I'm just happy to be his teammate. I get a couple blocks in here and there whenever he cuts it back, so I'm able to put some of that on tape as well.
And how much, I guess, grace or leeway does his vision give you when you call a play or when you see pressure from the defense?
Yeah, the thing about Ken is he understands his reads, and he's always reading his keys. We expect the line to obviously, block up front and give him lanes to run through. But at times, things happen, and, some guys get through there. And the great part about Ken is that the first guy is never going to bring him down. You see that every single week. Anytime he's got that first guy, he's going to either run him over or make him miss in space. And then if we can block downfield, if we can spring him to the second level, you can see his explosiveness and just how he can finish runs, and as well as he can pull away from defenders. And so, like a guy like Ken, like I said, one of the best backs in the league. I've said that, since I've been getting up here. We have a great running back room led by him, and shoot, man, I'm just happy to be his teammate.
Geno, a lot of folks talk with quarterbacks about arm strength, accuracy. Decision-making seems to be a big separator for the best QBs. Is there a part of your decision-making you feel like it's improved and a part where you're still wanting to improve?
Yeah, always improving. There's always room for improvement as far as that goes. for me, it's about just doing the next right thing. Obviously reading the defense and taking whatever they give me, not trying to force things. I think that's where decision-making comes in, is when you just kind of take what they give you, make the right read, and allow the system to work for you. And then there's times where, obviously, you got to, go above and beyond the X's and O's, and you got to make plays when sometimes they aren't there. And so having that balance of the two is very important.
You've played against Belichick defenses before. Does this look like a carbon copy of that, or are there some differences to it? Or?
Yeah, it looks like a Belichick defense. Obviously, they want to be physical up front. They want to muddy up your run game. They want to give you a bunch of different looks as far as fronts go. And then having those thumpers at linebacker. One of them's 250, the other's like 240. So they want to go downhill. They want to attack your offensive line. They want to press the line of scrimmage, and then they want to play man coverage in the back end. They want to get hands on guys. They trust their guys to run with any receiver. And you can see that, man. Coach Mayo, I think he's doing a great job with those guys. They got having them believing in themselves and in the system. And so you can see that on tape from week one. And, for us, it's about just taking advantage of our matchups and then obviously, blocking them up front.
Geno, that was your first chance to play with Connor Williams in front of you. How did you feel that played out through the 60 snaps of the game or so, and you guys kind of getting that chance for the first time?
Yeah, I thought Connor did a great job. Overall, just right off the bat, thinking of his leadership. He was very vocal in the huddle. We were doing some tempo, and he was getting guys to the line of scrimmage. He has the right demeanor. He's got the right tone when he's in there. I thought, for a guy who's only been here for 3 or 4 weeks, picking up the system and just allowing us to operate smoothly when we're out there, I thought it was very impressive. Really think the world of him, just the way that he approaches the game, and every single practice matters to him. And so that's something that, we enjoy around here. Love having him as a teammate, and I think it's only going to get better.
Anything stand out about how the Patriots use their DBs, maybe like kind of interchangeable perhaps in the same way Mike McDonald's vision kind of is for his secondary? Yeah,
they're very multiple with their personnel. So you'll see dime defense, you'll see nickel defense. They got penny. They go 5 down linemen where they got pretty much all DBs in the game, 1 linebacker, and they can get to pretty much any front. You'll see at times Peppers number 5. He can line up anywhere from a linebacker to a safety to a corner to a DN, and they're all interchangeable, like you said. I think they do a great job at mixing up the looks and just making you think a little bit out there. And so for us, communication is going to be key. It's going to be a loud environment, and so we've got to overly communicate and make sure everyone's on the same page, and then just blocking the looks that we see.
The Broncos blitz a lot. The Patriots don't blitz as much. How does that change your approach?
Yeah, I think when you say blitz with the Broncos, they're just bringing 5 D linemen, so that's considered a blitz or a pressure, but it's really not a blitz. The Patriots are more of a 4-down scheme. And if they do blitz, they'll bring a safety or a nickel. And so that's more of a blitz to me. And you got to be aware of those things, and you got to have your eyes in the right places, reading the right keys to know, which guy's going to be blitzing and where your hots are, if there is any. But overall, man, different scheme. They run a few different coverages, but that's just the way they do it, compared to the Broncos.
I talked with Charles Cross yesterday. He spoke about the offensive line, just this wanting to finish plays and the physicality. Can you speak to that and what you're seeing from that line?
Yeah, I think Charles alone did a great job at exactly what he said, man. Like, he was finishing plays all game. And you saw in that second half, from AB to Lakin, Connor up front. I thought Stone did a great job. The run blocking was phenomenal. That really got us going. And when we're led by that offensive line, when they're in their groove and, they're in there, they're moving the line of scrimmage, we're pretty dangerous. And I think that's something that we've got to continue to harp on. They've got to be the strength of this offense, the strength of this team, and that'll take us where we want to go.
Tyler and Mike McDonald were both raving about DK and some things he does away from just catching the ball. They mentioned that last 3rd down we had to set that up. How have you seen DK grow in the last few years as a player, like doing the little things like that?
I think it just starts with his preparation. You think about a guy who's taking vigorous notes. He's studying his opponent. He's studying the game plan. He's on point with everything that he does. Talk about his leadership has grown. He's grown physically, mentally as well. I think that's a testament to the type of man that he is, the type of player he is. And like I said, man, I enjoy playing with him, man. He's one of the best receivers in the game. He shows it every single week. And it may not always show up in the box score, like you said. It may not always be the 10-catch game or the 8-catch game. You know, sometimes he's, you know, just being a weapon by, you know, being himself and getting doubled and allowing other guys to work one-on-one. And so the things that he's doing is phenomenal, and I just enjoy having him as a teammate.
You know, you get to play the music in the locker room. How do you make the choice of what's going to play on a given day?
I just kind of go with whatever we're feeling that time. I get a lot of requests, and so it's usually whatever they request. But you know, I just kind of go with whatever we're feeling. You know, if we need to pick me up, you know, I'll go with some pick me up songs, and you know, just go from there.
If Zach has to play, I mean, Ken didn't practice yesterday, so we don't know. But if Zach has to play, what's your confidence level and him, you know, driving on Sunday? Extremely
confident in Zach. Like I said, since he's gotten here, he's been the consummate professional. He does all the little things right. I know he's going to be prepared. With the ball in his hands, like I said, you can see him on tape, man. He's phenomenal. He finishes runs. Having him, Ken, K-Mac, even George in that room, man, I think we have a really great room. But Zach is a guy that we're going to continue to count on. He's always going to, you know, do his thing when he's out there, and I expect him to play well.
I think post-game you had mentioned Grubb trusted the O-line to like stay with the run game. You were really happy about that. Was that something he had mentioned to you, or were you just kind of feeling that based on what he was saying in your ear, like, oh, we're
I mean, if you just watch the game and like just looking at the plays he was calling in second half, like we called a few run plays back to back, and you know, they really got us going. And so you know, as a player, as a quarterback out there, kind of like the coach on the field, you get a feel for, you know, what we need at the time. And at that time, you know, we weren't really moving the ball or executing well. And then once the run game started, everything else kind of, you know, snowballed from there. So just overall, I think Grubb did a great job of just sticking to the game plan and just trusting the guys. And I think guys did a great job of settling down and then getting things moving.
Could you feel the run game kind of slow down their pass rush in the second half?
For sure. You could our tempo, the run game, you could see how those guys were, you know, getting worn down, getting tired, and then the pass rush, you know, wasn't as effective as it was in the first half. And so I think that's going to be a weapon for us. You know, we've got to mix it up and use it when we can. But I think, you know, definitely was able to see that.
When you go hurry up, is that your call or is that Ryan, or can it be either one?
Could be either one. But we pick and choose our times when to do so.
That was your first time going through a game with Ryan in your ear the whole time. Just what was that process like, you know, doing all that with him?
Felt smooth. You know, coaches called games before, and I've played, you know, in games before, so it felt smooth. It's kind of like we go through that process in practice all the time, so it's not like a new thing. And we also had the preseason, the one drive where we were able to, you know, get some of that going.
What's he like, just like demeanor-wise, maybe when things aren't going good in the first half?
Same guy. You know, Coach Grubb's the same guy every day, good, bad, or indifferent, and that's what we love about him.
Coming up next, Seahawks safety Jenkins, who saved what could have been a touchdown on the Broncos' first drive, talks about a Week 1 win. This is The Huddle.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
We got answers about the linebackers. We certainly got answers about the secondary, the defense as a whole. I felt like we got answers. But the other question mark was the O-line.
After those first two series, if somebody had told you, K9's going to get 100 yards, no chance. I think there's going to be a lot of repair. I think, and the other thing, too, is it's a good thing that Charles Cross took that step.
Yeah.
Because he really did. He took that step to be a leader and to be the best offensive lineman on that line.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's football season, and that means colder weather is on the way. If it's time to update your windows and doors, talk to Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Local owner Keith Dashafee has a great deal just for you.
That's right, Steve. Now you can get 20% off qualifying installations or 0% financing for 24 months with equal payments. Just schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors at PellaPNW.com.
Thanks, Keith. Check out the unbeatable selection of windows and doors today at PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
You're free now. Free to fill your feed with impossibly chunky chunkers who chunk harder than you ever thought possible.
Cats, corgis, babies, baby penguins, baby pandas, chunky baby pandas.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things. Free to open a world of remote work and a portal into Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine, and then some. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service in select locations only.
If you're injured in the state of Washington, here's what matters. Who represents you matters. The experience of their staff matters. Their investigation team and track record of success matters. Davis Law Group was founded in Seattle and has been winning cases for more than 30 years. We know Washington State, we know our courts, and we know how to deliver the highest level of client satisfaction. And that's what matters.
For over 111 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington. From the Space Needle in Seattle and now all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. PacificLamp.com.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. Well, the seasons, they're a-changing. The guys are playing the sports outdoors. I know many are starting to maybe pull the lawnmower out and get back to the landscape and the outdoor work. I'm going to guess, Shannon, at IRG, maybe a little busier season?
Oh, absolutely, Brock. You know, we know when the seasons change, particularly when it gets warmer, people are in their houses pretty much all winter long with our cold weather, rain, et cetera, particularly here in the Puget Sound. And everybody's excited. They want to rush out and get going with their activity. I'm telling you, as a physical therapist for 35 years here, you need to prepare your body. So take time to warm up, increase some flexibility, do some stretches, because if you prepare your body and prevent injuries, those activities outside, particularly that exciting thing, mowing your lawn, is going to be healthier and it's going to be a lot more fun.
And you feel better. For more info or to book your appointment today, simply go to irgpt.com. It's all waiting for you right there at irgpt.com.
All right, Seattle fans, the gloves are off. Techline has the strongest warranty in the business. Give Techline a call and we'll come out for a free inspection. Take advantage of our easy financing and our summer special. Trust Techline.
Maura Dooley here. It's time to recognize a woman in our sports community with the 2024 Women of Inspiration Award. The nominations are in, and the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events, needs your help selecting a winner. Voting is open now until September 20th at woiseattle.org. The winner will receive a generous cash donation from WISE and their partners for the cause of their choice. Help honor a local woman today. Vote by September 20th at woiseattle.org.
This is The Huddle. Every Thursday from noon to 2.
On Seattle Sports.
All right, Rayshawn Jenkins speaking with reporters right now.
What did you learn about your defense last week that might have been unexpected, even given the amount of time you spent together in the preseason?
I don't know. I can't really say it was anything like too unexpected. I feel like we just did what we normally do every single day, which is we run to the ball, we give relentless effort, we tackle well, we practice on tackling. I mean, I want to say almost every day we're out there. You know, we got some form of tackling circuit or tackling drill. So I don't think anything really too much surprised me, but it was good to just see like everything come into fruition, like everything we've been practicing and everything, you know, just kind of go from the practice field to the game.
Stylistically, how much different is the challenge with New England, what they want to do versus what you saw week one?
Yeah, they're, I mean, they're not trying to hide anything. They tell you everywhere in the media, wherever, they're trying to run the ball. You know, that's what they're trying to do. They got a good back in 38. So, you know, as well as we tackled last week is last week. And, you know, every week is a new opportunity. So we have to come out there and showcase those same abilities and skill again, especially against a runner like this.
In your experience, you played for a couple different teams. Was that more practice and tackling over the offseason than you've been used to?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I would definitely say so. I mean, of course, there's a big emphasis around the league just because the hitting yardage is in the tackles. You know, those 3-4 yard gains, especially after contact, really adds up over a course of a game. But here we really paid attention to that, and that's why our coaches just make us practice tackles all day.
I'm sorry, you're talking about like the different drills where you have the pads and everything, not so much live tackling.
Yeah, just different drills. Yeah, not so much live tackling, just different drills that we just continuously just get coached on.
Have you ever been on a team that does the circuit drills of tackling, the one punch out and you move to another form tackling in every position of the defense doing that? Have you been on a team that does it that way?
Yeah, but we don't do it every day. Well, we used to didn't do it every day, but here we do it every day. So it's like, you know, it's definitely a point of emphasis.
And then is it fair to assume, I'm sure to hear that in your practice that there's a sense of trying to get multiple players there, and then when the first person hits, you eliminate them being able to get an extra 3 or 4 yards because the first hit stops them there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the ideal of it. You know, in a perfect world, you want to get the guy down on the first, contact, but we run to the ball well here, so it's, even if the first guy doesn't make the tackle, at least he gets the runner to stop his feet, and then you got the pursuit from, the entire defense is pursuing the ball carrier.
Rashawn, you flashed time and again with the 3 safeties, Kayvon coming on, you being able to beat more down in the box.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a place where you feel best, or do you not care whether you're back or in the box?
I mean, I would prefer to be toward the line of scrimmage just because that's what I've been doing for the past 3 years. My first 4 years in the NFL, I played primarily the free safety position, which, I loved at the time because it was like everything I known. So I'm like, okay, I love it. But then when I was, kind of forced to move down to the strong safety position due to injury, I fell in love with that because I'm like, man, there's action down here every play, whether it's the run game or the pass game. The free safety, I mean, you more so just back there just looking for anything that'll break. The ball goes up in the air every once in a while. You got to attack it, get the ball carrier down if it's, a busted gap or anything like that. So, I mean, you may, as a free safety, get 10, 12 opportunities in the game. Strong safety, you just in so much action, it's just endless opportunity.
Their first play of the game, you might have saved a touchdown there. What did you see there?
Before the play, honestly, I knew they were going to run it there because I seen just 2 gaps open. So I'm like, I might as well just get ready. It's coming right here. But, just that having that in my mind, it allowed me to close the distance between me and the ball carrier much faster. So I didn't give him a lot of room to work with. So he had to make his decision right now, and I just shot at him.
Playing with Julian Love now for, an off season in the first game, what have you seen him bring to this defense?
His IQ of the game is, really high. He really understands the game of football. He's on the details, the ultimate professional. And then, he's a playmaker at the end of the day. So just having a guy like that to be back there with you just makes it that much more easier.
Is Kayvon Wallace as talkative during games as he is during practice?
Yeah, absolutely. That's Kayvon's game. He's going to call things out before, they even get to their looks. Whatever he's thinking, you're going to know about it. A very vocal player, which from the safety position, you want a guy like that.
Rashawn, to have 3 turnovers forced and another fumble on the ground, how encouraging is that for you guys to see that kind of turnover production potential in the first game out?
Yeah, I mean, just like tackling, it's a point of emphasis here. And I'm pretty sure it's a point of emphasis around the league because the ball is, at the end of the day, that's the most important thing on the field. You got to take the ball away. So, I mean, very encouraging. But like I said earlier, this is a week-to-week league, and you got to continue to come out here and every week prove yourself.
We've seen Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellor and guys like that come around a little bit, and a lot of the alums were there Sunday. What's it like, I guess, kind of in your first year with the team, getting to know some of those guys and learn some of the history of this team?
Yeah, it was cool because, I mean, those are guys that I watched, growing up. I was in college watching these guys, so it was kind of cool just to be around those guys. Marshawn Lynch, Cam, Sherman, guys like that. I actually chopped it up with Cam and kind of picked his brain on a few things. And, it's great to have people that played this game at a high level come back to the team. It's cool to be around.
What about their advice still holds up? Like when you chop it up with Cam, what about what he says still holds up even though he hasn't played it?
You got to prove yourself every week. It don't matter what you did last week. Come out here, try to be better the following week, and so on and so forth.
When you watch those games and when you watch the Legion of Boom, what did you like most?
Every player had their own style that they brought to, the table, to the game, and they made sure the way they played the game, they made sure it looked like that on film every single Sunday. You had Sherman, lockdown corner. You had Cam, big hitter, big presence on the field. Earl, he's back there. He was back there just really controlling the airways, controlling the middle of the field. So, and making those eraser tackles that, his team needed to make. So,
did you change your mind at all or change your idea of what it looked like to play football or high-level defense?
It was very encouraging to watch because, I came from Miami, and as we know, we have a extensive history of, great DBs that came from the Hurricanes. So, just watching that and then looking at here as well just really upholds a standard that, that any defensive back that plays this game really wants to, live up to.
What was it like communicating on defense before the snap for the first time at the stadium?
Yeah, so it was loud. That was, it's top. I always tell people that's the top 2 loudest places I've ever played in, in my career. So going into the game, we really emphasized that hand signals we have to just be on those because we're not going to be able to hear each other out on the field. I couldn't even hear, my teammate who's maybe 6 feet away from me at some points in the game. So it was just really huge with just being on point with the hand signaling in the game.
We are going in the trenches with Ray Roberts next.
2. The Seahawks head to New England to face the new-look Patriots.
Check in the dictionary under answer, and that's what the Seahawks offense just did.
Can Coach McDonald's defense continue their dominance in Foxborough?
Back in the middle, intercepted, and it's Rick Woolen, who steps right in front of the receiver, Cortland Sutton.
Seahawks, Patriots, kickoff at 10 a.m. Pre-game coverage starting at 7.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
On your home for the Hawks, Seattle Sports.
Roof now, pay later. Hi, I'm Sam Thomason, owner of State Roofing. Take advantage of our 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to a year. We've partnered with leading lenders to make the replacement or repair of your roof affordable. Flexible financing options are available to take the worry out of an unexpected expense. Call us today at 866-ROOF-ROOF to schedule a free no-obligation estimate or visit us at stateroofing.com. That's stateroofing.com.
State Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, and you may see your favorite football and baseball teams wearing light blue towels, armbands, or ribbons. It's all in an effort to increase awareness of the second most common cancer and the number 2 cause of cancer death for males. Prostate cancer, when detected early, is curable. In Seattle, Swedish CyberKnife offers a non-invasive and highly precise treatment for prostate cancer. When other radiation treatments may last 6 to 9 weeks, Swedish CyberKnife treatment is typically 5 days, and each session lasts less than an hour. The system delivers radiation with extreme accuracy, sparing healthy tissue. The vast majority of CyberKnife patients experience minimal side effects and can continue normal activities during treatment. If you, a friend, or a family member is diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider Swedish CyberKnife. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible, it's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
My wife and I always loved doing everything together. Jiu-jitsu, kayaking, and intimacy was always on point. It was around my early 30s when I noticed a downward trend. Watching a lot of TV, putting on weight, and just full of self-doubt. I had tried another men's clinic with disappointing results. It's the personalized treatment I receive at Revive Men's Health that has been the complete game changer for me. I've got my energy and motivation back, I'm feeling stronger than I did in my 20s, and it made me a much better husband to my wife.
This is Dr. Andrew Elshouse of Revive Men's Health. If you're always feeling tired or moody, or your sleep is poor, you have low libido, you may be suffering from low testosterone.
Book your free T-check and exam. Call Revive Men's Health Seattle at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. This is the Huddle. Every Thursday from noon to 2. The Huddle.
You are listening to The Huddle with Dave Wyman, Michael Bumpus, and Stacey Ross. Joining now, you can hear him on the Seahawks pre- and post-game show. It's former NFL offensive lineman and current NFL analyst, Ray Roberts. Ray, how's it going?
It's all right. Sitting here in the airport in Philadelphia trying to get my way back to Seattle.
Wait, where are you coming from?
Philadelphia. I had to attend a Special Olympics conference all week here in Philadelphia and deal with the debate crowd and all that kind of stuff. So
Just
can't wait
pure
to get back
chaos. Yeah. Well, we're excited to get you back here. And I know Bump is excited to have you back on for the pre- and post-game show. But let's look back to week one quickly, Ray. It was a slow first half for the Seahawks offense. And you know it. I saw it. False starts, holding calls. Wasn't great. Tell us what you saw early from the offense and then what changed in the second half.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest with you. I was surprised that they came out throwing the ball. Even in our pregame show leading up to the game, we were highlighting that Grubb had, called the meeting and told the guys they're going to run the football and how DK had gotten behind the whole idea that they're going to run the football first and then create opportunities to throw the ball. So when they came out throwing the ball, it was kind of surprising to me. And then it was a little bit more surprising that it didn't seem like either guard came ready to play. They didn't seem like they were focused and played with intention in the first half, and it just didn't look very good. And if I can speak for any excuse they could have, as an offensive lineman in training camp, you don't get to hit people much. And so you're just biting at the bit to get at it in the first game, and you come out throwing the ball. That would have bothered me a little bit. So there's a lot that was going on there, but I'm glad that they kind of righted the ship in the second half. It seemed like they got a little bit more focus and played with some intention and awareness, and I think that was pretty much what changed the game up for the offensive line.
Well, I know this is kind of a broad. Sorry, Big Ray. I know this is kind of a broad question, but
What did you see different? They always talk about making adjustments or different things, and I know that there's a lot of different little individual things that happen. But what was the biggest difference that you saw in how they adjusted after those first couple series?
Well, I really do think that that they tried to show up the way that they said they wanted to show up, which is they wanted to run the football.
Right.
And so in doing that, I think that the guards, like I'm telling you, if you watch just the body language between the two guards in the first half and the two guards in the second half, the body language was totally different. Like even on both of those safeties, it wasn't a matter of physically getting beaten. It was a lack of awareness, and it was a lack of playing with intention, because if on the first safety, the defensive tackle is already one gap towards where the flow of the play is going. So Bradford has to know that he's going to have to run like hell to get himself to a place where he can stop this guy from crossing the line of scrimmage and get into the end zone. Well, he didn't. So he ended up having to hold a guy. And then in the second one, Tomlinson, the defensive tackle is on his outside shoulder. The safety walks into the box. The linebacker over him slides over towards the defensive end. All of a sudden, in your mind, you know that someone has to replace where the linebacker's coming from. That's going to be the defensive tackle, so he's going to slant inside. So different little, like having awareness of that, that's like elementary stuff, Dave. Like that's stuff you tell the defense, oh, I see what you're doing, and it ain't going to work. And that's stuff that Tomlinson probably have seen a million times. Right. And so for him to lack the awareness of that and then have that guy slant inside and make the tackle in the backfield, that to me, it was like one of those moments where you just show up and think you're going to roll your helmet out there and things are going to work. And it just wasn't there was just no awareness and attention to the details of what they were doing that was going on. And I don't know what they said in the second half, because if you look at the first half at Charles Cross, or the whole game, the way Charles Cross played it, this dude played with focus and intention and purpose. And if those two guys would have showed up the same way, those first few plays wouldn't have happened in the first half, in the first quarter.
Big Ray, you're right. When we talked in the pregame, we were highlighting how we expect them to run the football. They came out and tried to toss it, then they make the switch. People asked Stacy and I during our show, like, okay, why weren't they able to toss the ball down the field? I said, all right, well, if you can't protect, you're not going to have time to throw the ball down the field. Is there anything that you would do with this protection? Would you get the running back involved on one side of the ball rather than the other side of the ball? Like, how would you attack it?
Well, the thing I think with George Fant maybe not playing and you having to play Stone Forsythe, I think you're going to have to consider keeping a running back in or keeping a tight end to at least chip on that side to give them a little bit more time. But also, we didn't see the full complement of plays that they run in the running game with this offense, because there's so many things that they do where the run play and the pass play looks the same. And then that little bit of hesitation helps both the run game and the passing game. So I think if they can get to their running game early and be effective with it, then it allows them to kind of buy some time to take those shots down the field, because the play design and play calling also helps protection. And if you're running the football and you're creating, eye distraction for guys in the second level, we saw that in the run what Kenny McIntosh had in the preseason. That little bit of hesitation creates running room, and that little bit of hesitation creates enough time in the passing game to push the ball down the field.
Hey, Ray, I wanted to get back to your comments about Charles Cross, which I thought were great, but just to explore it a little bit more, we all talked about Charles Cross last year as though, not that he'd taken a big step back, but maybe we were just waiting to see certain things. When it comes to watching him closely this season, which I know you're going to do, what are you watching for from him in terms of development?
Well, when he came out of college, he was always a really smooth athlete as it came to, like, pass protection. His lateral movement was good. His punch is good. He has long arms, all that kind of stuff. But he did sometimes lose focus a little bit and drift too far up the field and get beaten inside, like stuff like that. And so what I was looking for in the passing game was just his attention to that, like that he was locked in on pass protection every single time. And then in the run game, that's the part where I thought he needed the most work. And watching him in preseason, it seems like Huff had him playing with more physicality and more violence with his hands and really finishing everything. When I say finishing everything, when I look for a good offensive lineman, you look for their ability to stay connected throughout the block. There's some dudes that can fire off the ball, hit you in the mouth, knock you back 2 feet, and then they fall to the ground or fall to the side. You can run and make the tackle. The really good ones stay connected. And if you watch in this game, there's at least 4, 5, or 6 plays where Charles stayed connected in the run game, drove his guy 10, 15 yards down the field, and then dumped them on their back. He had more blocks like that in this one game than he's had in the previous years in the NFL leading up to this point. And so I saw that kind of materializing in training camp, and then it was realized in this game. So if this dude can stay healthy and keep playing like that, he will easily be in the top 5 or 10 left tackles in the league.
Man, I really, really hope we see that this year. Good stuff, Ray. You guys can obviously follow Ray on X.com and hear him on the Seahawks pre- and post-game show this Sunday. Early start for you guys. Thanks so much, Big Ray.
Thanks, Ray.
Yeah, you guys have a good one. See you later.
See you. Have a safe flight. Okay, before we move on, we're going to have a voice of the Seahawks, Steve Raible, join us. Just kind of some final thoughts on the offensive adjustments and what we learned from Ray. You guys, I was so relieved. You pointed out Connor Williams' bump, and we all talked about Charles Cross right here with Ray. I had kind of this defeatist feeling about the offensive line after the first half. Obviously, the second half, hearing from you guys, hearing from Ray, I feel a little bit better. Is there anything you're taking encouraging-wise or something to look forward to about the offense in particular for week 2, Dave?
Yeah, I think the fact that they were able to turn that around. I mean, not only are the plays going wrong, but there's also like Ray would disagree with this, but a certain amount of momentum that you're trying to get, and they got that back really fast. You know, and again, like Laken Tomlinson is a really good player. So he didn't get beat physically. Now, we did get beat physically a couple of times, and that's kind of discouraging. And, you know, sometimes some of the adjustments are, well, we got to chip that guy, or we got to slide protection, or keep a tight end in, or something like that. But, yeah, there's just no way. I mean, they looked confused. It was like they were trying to do too much. So, yeah, I love that they were able to turn that around, and in a pretty calm manner. Because, again, like when I looked at Geno down there when he brought everybody together, it was like you'd think he'd be like screaming and yelling, but he wasn't. He was like very calm and just sort of talking guys through it. And I just thought it was very impressive because, you know, you're going to go through that, so you might as well go through it in the first game and be able to get a win out of it.
All right, still to come. We are going to get an opponent preview of the Patriots. But first, the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Raible, joins us next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
We got 17 games to go. It will tell the rest of the story. It was a hard pass by you and me and the organization. We are not giving up pitching in the 2024 offseason. That cannot be the conversation in the 2025 offseason. It cannot be, because you just saw a historic run. You just saw these guys basically starting every 5th day and doing things that have not been done in totality out of a rotation, and you're 1 game over 500. So this has to now be on the table.
It has to be on the table. On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
How would you like to have a brand new roof in time for winter? And even better, how about an honest local contractor known for their quality work? If you use Asset Roofing, you will have both. I can personally recommend Asset Roofing. Now through winter, if you need your roof replaced, make sure you get a bid from Asset Roofing. Get a free estimate now at AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
with Floor Coverings International, the mobile flooring showroom comes to you. Book an appointment, pick out the flooring you like, and they'll order and install it for you. It's that easy. Visit FCIFloors.com to book an appointment. Floor Coverings International, the stars of flooring.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I have a serious heart condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. I still had symptoms on my beta blocker, so I asked my cardiologist about any treatment advances. It was a breakthrough for me. That's why I'm working with Bristol Myers Squibb to raise awareness about HCM and to help others like me. Talk to your cardiologist today and visit hcmrealtalk.com for more information.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb. Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play. Like North America's #1 home fire safety brand, Kidda. Because on a day full of football sounds you love, like fight songs, roaring crowds, and your favorite commentators...
Like me, Kirk Herbstreit.
The last sound you want to hear is... Defend your game time with Kidda and the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Based on total household installations as of December 2023.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
At Shane Company, we believe everybody is made to shine. So put on earrings that make you sparkle, diamonds that light up the room, a modern heirloom you'll treasure. We're all made to shine. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
For over 111 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington. From the Space Needle in Seattle and now all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist you with any lighting issue, as well as help with intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting expert since 1912. Visit PacificLamp.com.
The Mike McDonald Show. The first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We want to play a certain way, and you're just going to chisel away at it every day.
Presented by Emerald Queen Casino. This is the Huddle. Every Thursday from noon to 2.
On Seattle Sports.
You are listening to The Huddle with Dave Wyman, Michael Bumpus, and Stacey Ross, the voice of the Seahawks. Steve Raible joining us right now. Rabes, how's it going?
Great, guys. How are you?
Good. Very excited coming off a Week 1 win. And Rabes, we actually opened The Huddle with this, but it feels like the #1 thing that stood out to us was defensive play, specifically tackling. What about you?
Oh, yeah. I don't think there's any question. Dave and I, during the breaks and even during the broadcast itself, I mean, we both, I think, raved about the fact that not only was one guy getting there, but there were a half a dozen guys getting there. And the more hats you get to the party, as somebody once said, the better shot you have at stopping a play. But also just the open field tackles. I mean, Dave as a linebacker would know this. I had a few opportunities as a special teams player to tackle a guy like Terry Metcalf in the open field who's returning a kick. And it's difficult because that guy knows where he's going and you don't. And I know our guys just make play after play, committing, making that first move, making the running back or the receiver alter their route. And then if you don't make the tackle, there's another guy right behind you that will. So I was really impressed, especially for teams now that don't even get a chance to practice really tackling during preseason.
What do you think about the turnaround offensively, Steve? I thought that was pretty impressive, and luckily it was at home. Might have been a little bit tougher on the road with noise and whatnot, but yeah, it was kind of a really bad start. I guess I didn't recognize how bad it was till after the game, but the fact that they were able to turn that around, we've been talking a lot about that. How impressed were you by that?
Very much so. Our great stats guy, and I don't say that just because he's my nephew, but Riley Mike threw together stats for me as we were finishing up. Just in the second half, we won the first down battle 13-7. Total yards, 202. This is second half now, 202 to 110. 90 yards rushing in the second half for the Seahawks to just 39 for Denver. Denver had 2 turnovers in the second half. We didn't have any. We won the time of possession by 4 minutes and outscored them by 10, 17-7 in that second half. I mean, it really was a real turnaround. And whether it's just getting the offensive guys' feet on the ground a little bit and everybody kind of pulling in the same direction, the defense played well. I think almost from the jump they were put in to some really difficult spots early on. But I think you just saw a team that went into the locker room and calmly said, here's what we need to do, and then they came out and did it.
Rabes, you talk about them going into the locker room and having that communication. I think that's big for the team to be able to execute like that, but how important is it for this coaching staff to be put in that situation and then be able to communicate and have their guys go out and execute?
I think they've had this kind of this ability to be in touch with their guys since Mike took over and hired the staff. And they started it at a very early time during the off-season workouts, then during the OTAs, and then training camp. And so this message of what the coaches want and how they want to get it from their players has pretty much been ingrained, I think. And I think one of the things that, unless I miss my guess, I don't think we saw or heard a lot of screaming and yelling and that sort of thing, from coaches that I think Dave and I have had in the past when we played, because it's a different time. Players respond differently. But more important, this coach, Mike, is so attuned to communication and so much into that. There will be no questions when we go over all this again and again and again. You will know it because we will communicate it to you. And then, again, the other side of that is we're not going to panic. Yeah, we didn't play very well in the first half. We know we can play a whole lot better than that in the second half. And here's what we're going to do to help that along. The guy that's wearing the number 9 jersey, he's going to get the ball a whole lot here in the second half. And we're going to ride him, and they did. And I think it just opened up everything. It gives the offensive linemen that confidence that, yeah, we're better than we were in the first half. Let's go prove that.
It feels so hard not to try to read too much into week one because it's all the information we have and we got 6 days to talk about it, right? So you just ruminate and you watch the film over and over, knowing that we're going to get another batch of information from week 2. Is there a player or maybe a position group that you'll be watching very closely, Rabes?
Wow, first of all, ruminate. I like that.
Thank you. I was an English major.
Yes, you obviously passed all your tests. Dave and I don't think, have used the word ruminate ever in one of our broadcasts. But maybe I'm wrong, Dave. Maybe you're a big ruminate fan. I don't know.
Well, we'll have to work it into the broadcast this weekend.
Okay. We'll see what we can do. Maybe rummy we can figure in there somehow. Maybe not ruminate. What do I look for in this? You know what? It's sort of like looking in the mirror this week.
Yeah.
This New England team looks a whole lot like the Seahawks, at least of the second half that we saw against Denver, and that is they really want to run the football. Jacoby Brissett, I mean, he's a veteran and he's a serviceable quarterback, but I don't think he's going to be the guy to beat you. But Ramondre Stevenson can run the football now. The wide receivers are kind of, I don't want to say they're pedestrian. They're all pretty good, especially Jalen Polk, former Husky. But I think this is going to be one of those knockdown, drag-out kind of games. The key, I think, for me, and who am I looking for here, is, the first day or so, K9 hasn't practiced or didn't practice. So we hope he's going to be okay to play. But we also know that we can open this up a little bit, too. This is a good defense we're playing against, but
they didn't really get a chance to see as much of Jackson Smith and Jigba and DK as we would like to. And I think we should and will see more of them on Sunday.
Hey, you know, Tyrell Dodson has really been an amazing find for the Seahawks. He really should have had an interception. I think that was when I screamed out, "Oh no, he's got Wyman hands," because he did knock an interception down. But man, that guy was all over the place, Steve, and it was so impressive to see that. And I think maybe one of the biggest surprises. I mean, we saw him during camp and in preseason. We thought he was going to be good, but I didn't know he was going to be that good. I thought maybe he was one of the bigger surprises out there on the field on Sunday. What'd you think about him, or did you think there was somebody else that was a little more that surprised you or caught you off guard?
Well, I thought both those inside linebackers did a great job. I thought Dodson as well as Baker, and mostly because they just flew to the football. You know, we remember that back in years past. We remember, and we talked about it often, watching Bobby Wagner when he was a younger guy, fly sideline to sidelines. And I'll never forget a tackle he made on Cam Newton on the sidelines in Carolina years ago, that he just had no business making that play, and yet he did. And that's what I saw out of these two guys. And they're not the youngest of guys. You know, Dodson's, half a dozen, 6 years in the league, and Baker even longer than that with Miami at 7 years. So these guys really were, well coached in understanding what does Mike McDonald want out of his defense. And what he wants is those big guys up front just kind of annihilating the blocking scheme and letting the linebackers run and make the play. And they did that. And they got into coverage too. So it's really a treat to watch these guys play. And then, of course, our secondary, the Reek and Spoon and Reese. I mean, it's just a really well-constructed defense. And as we always say, this time of year especially, if we can just keep everybody healthy and get through the first third of the season, first half of the season with this group out there, they're going to be really tough. By the time they play together 4 or 5 games, think of how good this defense just might be.
He'll be on the call. 10 a.m. start Seattle time for this one. Seahawks taking on the Patriots. Voice of the Seahawks, Steve Raible. Thanks, Rapes.
Thanks, Raves.
We'll ruminate things on the
Good. Thanks, Steve. All right, you guys, we will try to get a few injury updates, particularly on Ken Walker, from John Boyle, Seahawks reporter. He joins us in 20 minutes. But first, we've got questions about the Seahawks' Week 2 opponent, and we're going to get an expert on to answer them next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
We got answers about the linebackers. We certainly got answers about the secondary, the defense as a whole. I felt like we got answers. But the other question mark was the O-line.
After those first 2 series, if somebody had told you K9's going to get 100 yards, no chance. I think there's going to be a lot of repair. I think, and the other thing too is it's a good thing that Charles Cross took that step.
Yeah,
because he really did. He took that step to be a leader and to be the best offensive lineman on that line.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Can't fix everything for everybody, but you can be there and listen and try to help with what you can. You're there to support them, and that's the best that you can do.
Justin Meek. He's the leader and caretaker of the 380 people who consider Lee Johnson their home.
This is my life. This is my family's life. The people that work here, they're my family. When something's not right with them, it's not right with us. My wife and 3 kids in the house, there's always something wrong with somebody at all times. And if there isn't, then something's wrong. When you have 388 employees, there's never a day that everything is good everywhere. You have to be okay with that. You have to look at that as opportunities to gain a better relationship with people and help them through what they're going through.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, forlorn even, like your efforts are futile, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, you can forget your frustrations because we find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Fantastic.
So, whether you need to hire 4, 40, or 400 people, get ready to meet first-rate talent. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Don't forget, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Finally, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're losing your hair and you want a simple solution that works, and you want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Parungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration, from the experience itself to the unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, they were recently crowned 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185, 425-449-8185. If you qualify, get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185. Refine your hairline with a team that's redefined hair restoration. AdvancedHair.com.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about football. Have fun, but be responsible on game day. Even if it's on your best friend's 100-inch 4K UDR and surround sound 5.1. If you feel sacked in the fourth quarter, a designated driver needs to take you to your end zone. If you get carried away with too many Bloody Marys after a few too many Hail Marys, call for a timeout. You get the point. Be safe on game day.
1-800-DUI-AWAY.
I'm Bradley Johnson with 1-800-DUI-AWAY. Let's talk about Google. It's so important, it's a verb. Google it. Then check out our hundreds of 5-star Google reviews. They ended my case with such favorable results that even the judge was surprised. Give yourself the absolute best chance of staying out of jail and give Bradley Johnson a call. I contacted other firms with no call back. I then called Bradley Johnson and scheduled a meeting immediately. Google us.
1-800-DUI-AWAY.
Hey, Brock Heward here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. Now, Shannon, I need to ask you if what I've been hearing is true. You don't need a referral, really, to see a physical therapist in the state of Washington?
That's exactly right, Brock. The state of Washington is a state that has what's called direct access. That means that if you get up in the morning, for example, and you hurt your back or did something to your muscles or tendons or joints, you can call a physical therapist directly, and we can get you in that same day and start your care and your recovery process.
How can patients get scheduled with IRG?
Oh, it's easy. You just contact us at irgpt.com. We'll direct you to our concierge service, and we'll take care of all that for you. We handle all the authorization, verification. We want our patients to understand their insurance benefits and what the outcomes are going to be with their visit to IRG Physical and Hand Therapy.
Please, please, please don't let injuries keep you from your passion. Schedule online today at irgpt.com and start the journey back to your best self.
Seahawks Player Spotlight.
Man, it felt good to go out there and be able to contribute.
Exclusive interviews with your favorite Seahawks.
You know, we got a genius as the head coach.
Every day with Wyman and Bob. This is The Huddle. Every Thursday from noon to 2.
On Seattle Sports.
You are listening to The Huddle. ESPN NFL Nation reporter Mike Reese joining us right now for an opponent preview. As we step across enemy lines, let's first welcome Jan. Hey, Mike, how's it going?
I'm doing great. Stacy, Michael, Dave, great to be with you. Looking forward to this weekend's game.
We are so excited to get right back into it. It was a really fun week one for both of these teams. Actually, I'm actually going to start, though, with your new head coach, because before we even get to what happened for you guys against the Bengals, tell us what that offseason of transition has felt like.
Well, it's been really a lot different with Gerard Mayo in for Bill Belichick after 24 years of Belichick. I think in some respects, you know, he's kept some of the Belichick sort of, call it like foundational stuff, you know, preaching a lot of hard work, long training camp practices. It was a hard training camp under Gerard Mayo, but he's brought in like a new, fresh energy. I mean, he's 38 years old. He's like Coach McDonald, who's 37. This is like new identity, fresh, a lot looser. So, Stacey, yesterday we're in the press conference room. Jacoby Brissett sitting down, doing his press conference. Gerard Mayo walks in with a University of Tennessee hoodie and tells him to put it on because he lost a bet. He's an NC State guy. Would Bill Belichick ever do that?
Absolutely
You know what I mean?
not. He cut the sleeves off.
It highlights some of the differences, you know.
Hey, tell us the guy that really interests me is on defense, of course, Juwan Bentley. I mean, that guy was just all over the field and watched the game, and I was like, wow. And he's listed at like 6'2", 250, but man, he runs around the field like he's a 200-pound guy.
Yeah, you have a great eye. I think he had 12 tackles in that opener. So he's an interesting story. He entered the league as a fifth-round pick of the Patriots out of Purdue. And I think, you know, the book on Juwan Bentley is like he's a first and second down player. He's going to be a downhill run thumper, and he's really evolved over time. You know, he's a veteran now, 6-7 years, and he's a three-down player, and he's the signal caller. He leads the huddle. And Gerard Mayo has said, like, this is one of the best linebackers in the NFL that no one talks about. And now I'm going to tell Gerard when I see him tomorrow that that's not true because you're talking about him. And so Gerard can't say that anymore, that no one's talking about Juwan Bentley. That's a great eye.
Hey, Mike, my co-host, Stacey, we do a show throughout the week. She had to bring donuts in because I predicted that Mayo would be the number 2 and Brissett would be the number 1. And the reason why I thought that was just because the trouble I thought New England might have protecting the quarterback. You don't want to do that to a young guy, right? You put a veteran in there who can protect himself, slide protection or whatnot. Was that the thinking behind it, or am I missing something?
Well, so before I answer, like, how many donuts did you get for being right?
I brought in a dozen. He got a dozen donuts. So basically everyone on the show and people that were in the sports pit prepping for the next shows got donuts. And what I should have done, Mike, is just contacted you and asked what you think would happen. I was a fool, but.
Stacey, we'll get on that next time. We'll make sure that doesn't happen.
Thank you for having my back.
So that was part of it, but I would say not the only part of it. You know, I think the Patriots looked at Drake May. Now, remember, he only played 26 starts in college, and he was just turned 22 years old. So, like, compared to Jaden Daniels, like, what was it, like 56 starts in college or something like that. Bo Nix, he's like 24 and like 61 starts. I think, and Caleb Williams, I believe, you know, maybe had more than 26 if I recall, and he's a little bit older if I have it right. So I think this was as much about just the individual player, Drake May, being a little bit younger and maybe a little more raw than some of these other prospects, because I will say, like, if they had drafted Jaden Daniels, it might not be the same answer. You know, it might have been Jaden because he came in a little more polished. I will say, like, they're very happy with Drake May. They just want to be disciplined, and they figure it's easier to go this way and put him in than start him and have to take him out. Then you could really do damage, you know, to the long-term prospects with him.
As you know, I'm sure just from watching the league last season and also from prep for this week, the Seahawks run defense was among the worst in football last year and the year prior. We saw a very improved performance against the Broncos, but we have no idea if it's real or not. And here I am looking at Ramondre Stevenson and whether it's like a jumbo package, you know, with the offensive line for the Patriots or, you know, what challenges they might present. Tell me what you saw specifically from the run game in New England in week 1.
So this is fascinating to me because what the Patriots are doing, this is a West Coast offense. So think like Cleveland Browns, Kevin Stefanski, Nick Chubb, like when Chubb was healthy. Mm-hmm. Like that to me would be the best comparison for what the Patriots are with offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt, who comes to New England from Cleveland under Kevin Stefanski. And they view Ramondre Stevenson as one of the best backs in the league, like Nick Chubb when healthy. So I think that's the sort of summary. They'll do the wide zone, which is something Bill Belichick was actually trying to implement here a couple years ago. It didn't work out. And they'll power, they'll run power or, right down the middle. So it's the way they have to win. So I will tell you, I watched the Seahawks. I thought that was a very good run defense, and I didn't have the context in my mind that they were so bad last year. And I just wonder if it's just, isn't it like a different staff? And I thought Byron Murphy looked good, right? He looked like he helped them a little bit in that game. So I know he's part of a bunch of linemen. So I wrote like the traditional off season, but that was Belichick had actually traded out of the first round that year and would have taken Duggar at 23, ended up getting him, I think, at 37 because he was a little bit older coming out of Lenore-Rhine, and he's just a hard-hitting safety. He was their transition tag player in the offseason. They ended up getting a long-term extension with him, and paired with Jabril Peppers, those two are hard-hitting, aggressive, safeties that really set a tone for the defense.
He is ESPN NFL Nation reporter Mike Reese, kind enough to join us for an opponent preview, a good look at these Patriots. Mike, thank you so much for your time. All
right. Thanks so much for having me. Looking forward to the game.
Thanks, Mike.
See ya. Again, thank you to Mike Reese for joining us for an opponent preview. Coming up next, we're going to get a preview of the home team. John Boyle, Seahawks.com reporter, is going to join us, see if we got some injury updates here on guys like Ken Walker. Don't go anywhere.
In week 2, the Seahawks head to New England to face the new-look Patriots.
Check in the dictionary under answer, and that's what the Seahawks offense just did.
Can Coach McDonald's defense continue their dominance in Foxborough?
Goes back in the middle, intercepted, and it's Rick Woolen, who steps right in front of the receiver, Cortland Sutton.
Seahawks, Patriots, kickoff at 10 a.m. Pre-game coverage starting at 7.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
On your home for the Hawks, Seattle Sports.
Hey, babe. Yeah, the bank password is Moneybags, but a $sign instead of the S.
Mr. Moneybags here is about to get his identity stolen.
Wait, what?
If he used 1Password, he can share logins, credit cards, and other important information with just his wife, not the whole store. Sir, your card's been declined.
Again?
Security is complicated. 1Password isn't. And right now, get a free 2-week trial at 1Password.com. That's 2 free weeks at 1Password.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Tune in this Sunday as the Seahawks take on New England. Kickoff at 10 a.m. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, proud sponsor of the Seattle Seahawks and the Northwest's biggest and best casino.
Roof now, pay later. Hi, I'm Sam Thomason, owner of State Roofing. Take advantage of our 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to a year. We've partnered with leading lenders to make the replacement or repair of your roof affordable. Flexible financing options are available to take the worry out of an unexpected expense. Call us today at 866-ROOF-ROOF to schedule a free no-obligation estimate or visit us at stateroofing.com. That's stateroofing.com.
State Roofing, the best roof you'll ever need.
Miss anything from the Brock and Salk Show? Remember, you can always catch the show on demand on SeattleSports.com, the Seattle Sports app, or wherever you listen to podcasts. This message brought to you by Ascend Hospitality Group, Famous Dave's, Ascend Prime, and Stanford's.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. I'm a 5th-generation Pacific Northwesterner, graduated from UW and Seattle U School of Law. At Warrior Injury Law, we have years of experience in the trenches, fighting insurance companies for the people of Washington, my people. If you've been injured, you need a lawyer that is tough, confident, and battle-tested. Call us at 253-WARRIOR for your free case review. Warrior Injury Law, battle-tested.
Eddie's!
Under these arches, opposing teams are put to the test. Can they hear themselves over the boom of the 12s? Can they withstand the Seattle elements? Can they compete against us?
Touchdown! Seahawks!
This city lives for Sunday. Get your tickets for Seahawks game days at Lumen Field and experience what this city lives for. Visit Seahawks.com today.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
This is The Huddle. Every Thursday from noon to 2.
On Seattle Sports.
You are listening to The Huddle with Dave Wyman, Michael Bumpus, Stacey Rost, and joining us right now, John Boyle. John, what a week one, win, which I guess we might have been able to predict against the Broncos, a team that's clearly in transition, rookie quarterback. There were opportunities here. I still was so surprised by the defensive performance. What about you?
It was so fun to watch. I mean, I think we all expected them to play well, but at the same time, it's, when you have that much newness, both in terms of some key personnel changes, linebacker, safety, very different, and then a totally new scheme. I think I maybe expected there'd be a few more, growing pains, so to speak, but it looks so good, just how fast guys are playing, just how well they were tackling, just all those, Denver's game was a lot of short passes, and you rarely saw anybody get any extra yards after the catch.
Sometimes out of disaster comes something really good.
That was beautiful, Dave.
That was deep.
Wow.
Let's let that ruminate. She used that word earlier. I thought, after the game, I was like, that was necessary that they went through that offensively because it was really bad. And for them to come back the way they did in the second half, it's almost like you look at that and go, I'd much rather that happened actually than didn't happen, because it could happen somewhere like on the road.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously in the moment you don't want to see safeties and penalties and all that, but after the fact, it's like, okay, you face some real adversity right off the bat, first game of the season. That helps guys. And we heard a couple of players talk about that. DK Metcalf talked about it yesterday. I talked to Laken Tomlinson about it a little bit, and he's like, you know what? Sometimes I've been on teams where teams don't respond well to that. And for them to bounce back, the offense played really well in the second half. They got the win. I think that's going to help them going forward.
First time for Mike McDonald being officially, coaching in a game that means something. But now he gets to go on the road for the first time. And remember, Pete had things dialed in when it comes to guys going on the road and being ready to go. Do you know or think if he's using any of that Pete Carroll stuff, or is it completely his own doing? No,
he talked about this yesterday, but they're definitely keeping a lot of the same travel plan that Pete Carroll and company used before, because it worked really well. It's 24 of the last 35 games at 10 a.m. they've won. They've been, one of the better road teams in the NFL, period, really over the last decade. And that's hard to do when you're the most geographically isolated team in the league. You're traveling more miles most years than anybody in the league or close to it. So, Mike McDonald's not just come in and blindly accept everything that was here before, but he's also not going to change just to change things. So he talked it over with people. He said they talked to some different experts, sleep studies, all that, and found out hey, this, what's working in this case is working pretty well, so why change it?
Well, speaking of changing things, in the second half for this offense, the run is what really took off. It allowed them to separate themselves. We've got some questions about Ken Walker's health, so looking for a quick update from you, just the latest on that. And then also, as far as the offensive attack in this one, you can kind of, still lean into the run and just go with what worked. But, man, I'd love to see them throw downfield just a bit more. What are you thinking there?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, with Walker, we don't know a lot other than that, they said he's day-to-day is, I think, the term that McDonald used Wednesday, and he didn't practice Wednesday. We don't know yet about Thursday's practice because they're out there on the field right now. So, kind of wait and see. But, I mean, they're going to want to run the ball no matter what, but I would think that they do want to get a little more dynamic in the passing game. Get a few more shots. They tried to take a couple shots, but the pass protection wasn't holding up as well early. And I think if they could get that dialed up, and especially if Ken Walker can't play or if he's limited, then you might want to lean on the passing game a little bit more. So we'll see how they dial it up. But I think they'll take their chances.
How was DK's performance according to him and Coach McDonald? I mean, he drew a couple penalties.
Yeah.
And then he had a couple penalties. And, he's going up against one of the best cover corners in the league.
Yeah, the stats don't jump out at you by any means, but as you mentioned, he drew a couple key penalties that, those more or less are the same as yards in terms of the, how it helps the offense. And then we heard, Mike McDonald, Tyler Lockett, different guys talked about kind of the little things he's doing in the game that you don't really notice, like that the route he runs on that last third down, the Tyler Lockett catch to clinch the game. Metcalf is kind of running interference on that to make that route work. So things like that are just, if a team's dedicating their best defensive back to DK all day, as the Broncos were, it might limit DK's production, but it does create opportunities to other guys. So, statistically not his best game, but I think that internally they like what he showed.
I love that last one, the mesh concept. He even flinched at the guy to make a move. Imagine 6'3", 225 flinching at you as you're running across the field.
I'd flinch back.
You're going to react.
I wouldn't try to run through that.
No, heck no. What about Geno? I think it was such a crazy start. When I'm sitting there next to Paul Moyer, and it's sack, it's interception, and then the next offensive play, you get a false start. And I'm always looking for Geno's body language, and it seemed pretty good. What did he sound like after the game and then this week too?
Yeah, first of all, I think other than the way that game started, which is not as much on him as the protection, I thought he played very well in that game. But it's less about, to me, what really stood out is less what he actually did throwing the ball around, is just the leadership he showed. Like, we've heard from multiple players, both on Sunday and this week, that were like, he set that tone of like, okay, guys, we're fine. We're going to get this going. Not like yelling at guys and screaming at guys, but just, keeping guys' heads in it, keeping them poised. So I think that's where, going into his third year as a starter, he's getting more and more comfortable in that role. Like, he's the guy leading this offense, and I think he really helped them weather that storm early on.
What's a challenge that, in your mind, the Patriots, who, again, were kind of underestimated, they upset the Bengals, but what's a challenge they could present Seattle that Seattle maybe didn't face with Denver?
I mean, I'd say their running game. I mean, Denver ran the ball some, and they had a little success, but not much, but they also weren't that committed to it, and you're going to see a very different attack in the Patriots. That that's going to be their bread and butter. They're going to lean on that. They got a very physical running back who breaks tackles, so it's going to be a good, very different challenge for this defense to show that they can, step up and stop a physical run game.
So what did you think about the way Mike McDonald reacted after the game? Because you felt like before, I mean, I know how I would think. I would think, oh, man, there's probably a bunch of stuff I didn't get to and needed to. But it seemed like he was pretty satisfied. And he's always very steady. And, he's got a pretty decent sense of humor. Well, some guys think it's corny, I guess, but
that's probably why I like it.
Yeah, me too.
I've had the same criticism levied at me.
The dad jokes, right? Yeah. But anyway, how do you think he held up, and what do you think he was thinking afterwards?
Good. I mean, I think it was exactly from the little bit of time we've been around him, he was exactly like I thought he'd be after the game, which is very poised, not making too big a deal. He's already, talking about, he loves the term stacking wins. He's already thinking, okay, that game ended, and he's talking about the next game and how do we get ready for that. So, he did admit that, or not admit, but he did say that he, did get to celebrate it with friends and family in town and enjoy it that night after he got back. But right after the game, just talking to us, and in the game, he's not the kind of guy who's going to go nuts celebrating it. He's just like, okay, that's, they expect to win a lot of those games this year. So he's glad they got that one out of the way. And now he's looking at, okay, what can we fix that wasn't good in that game and get ready for the next one.
I feel like the highlights of the defense was the back end to start.
Yeah.
But as the game wore on, man, those linebackers were playing with a speed that I haven't seen in a very long time. Were you surprised with Baker? I mean, I saw his film in Miami, but we didn't see much of him. What'd you make of that second level?
Yeah. I mean, again, I kind of touched on this earlier, but like for the fact that like both those guys are new, two of the safeties are new, the way they all played so well together was really encouraging. Like you didn't see we weren't on the same page between the safety and the linebacker, and this dude's running free over the middle of the field. They kept it really clean. But, yeah, I mean, those guys were all flying around. Baker, especially, like for as much time as he missed, he sure looked like he was ready to go. So it's
Baker got a cowboy collar. That's when I knew he was real.
Yeah, when he had the big the neck roll kind of deal.
I'm like, okay, he's legit.
The tinted visor of uniform editions. One more injury I completely glossed over, and I can't believe I did. George Fant, obviously a non-participant in practice yesterday. I'm not personally anticipating he's going to play, so maybe we just talk as though, let's say, let's say
Sure.
that they are hamstrung there.
I like hypotheticals.
What kind of options does this team have to make up for that absence?
I mean, you have obviously Stone Forsythe,
Sure.
the guy who stepped in. You would presume he's a starter
Yeah.
if he can't go. But then, you got the rookie, Mike Jarrell. He's a guy that obviously is still very young and inexperienced and coming from a small school, but he had a really good camp. McClendon Curtis is another guy, that's a lot of versatility they could do different things with. So they got some options there for sure. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, we don't know yet about Fant. Obviously, they would love to have him back, but it's early. You're not going to rush a veteran player back from that. So we'll see what they do there. But yeah, I mean, they got some, they feel like they kept 11 linemen on the team and they have some on the practice squad as well. So they feel like they have depth.
Final 45 seconds to a minute here. I'll just go to all three of you. Easy question to wrap things up, but just to fill in the blank, you two actually have time to think about your answers. John's going to go first.
Thanks.
It'll be so easy. The Seahawks win on Sunday if?
They just start on offense clean, don't hurt themselves. All those every one of those drives that they didn't score in the first half, the very first play of the drive was a negative play, either a sack, penalty, whatever. They went backwards on first down. The times they didn't, they scored points.
Wyman, Seahawks win on Sunday if?
This is boring, but they ran for 170 yards, so you're going to have to shut them down. I don't think Jacoby Brissett beats them, kind of like I didn't think Bo Nix could. So, yeah, if you can limit the rushing yards.
Well, you said every first play in the first half was a negative?
Yeah, I can't remember when that ended, but yeah, it was not everyone, but the ones they didn't score. So they had, was their first 10 possessions. 6 of them went backwards on the first play.
Goodness gracious.
And they didn't score any of them. 4 of them they didn't. They scored all 4.
All right.
Bump, last word.
Just bless me.
Seahawks win on Sunday if?
If they just wear them down, the Bengals only ran 48 plays. I mean, Broncos had 44 in the first half of their own. So just be disciplined and wear them down.
This has been The Huddle with Dave Wyman, Michael Bumpus, and Stacey Ross. You guys can hear Dave alongside Steve Raible on the call of the game. Bump on pre and post game. Obviously, you could read John's coverage during the game on x.com at John P. Boyle and read his coverage on Seahawks.com afterwards. This has been The Huddle.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
He is Mark Schlereth.
I thought it might be the best tackling performance I've ever witnessed in watching an NFL game by the Seahawks. I don't know that there was 2, 3, 4 yards after contact in that game by the Broncos. From the Broncos' perspective, it was one of the most pathetic performances I've watched. And at the same time, I was marveling at the Seahawks' ability to tackle, the way they broke on balls, the things they broke up.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible, it's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 9/22/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eagle bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Choose the right flooring for your home, right in your home, with Floor Coverings International. They bring the mobile showroom to you, loaded with samples of carpet, LVP, hardwood, laminate, tile, and more. So you can see the flooring in your light, not just in a store or on a screen. They handle every aspect of installation, ensuring your complete satisfaction. Visit FCIFloors.com and